Turn your preparation into a cornerstone for reaching the top of the civil services selection list. Get ready for the final personality test with the Vision IS Personality Development Program for the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2024. The program offers in-depth depth analysis sessions with senior experts and faculty members, realistic mock interviews with ex-bureaucrats and educationists, interactive sessions with toppers and serving bureaucrats, personalized performance evaluation and feedback. At Vision IS, we prepare you to excel in areas like communication, current affairs, critical thinking and more, essential for the UPSC CSE final interview. The UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, all India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
So hi, good afternoon. I hope all good. So there were few questions from medieval which were remaining. So we'll start with those. And then after today, a little bit of half the portion of art and culture would be over. ठीक है? तो आज हमारा course में medieval है and art and culture half the portion. ठीक है? Then remaining questions of the art and culture we'll do tomorrow. So basically language literature का question that will be done tomorrow, and उसके अलावा what is remaining, music तो I'm doing today, dance also I'm doing today. I'm not doing dance, so so then but I do sing, ठीक है, वो भी in a primitive mode. तो so there would be some topics. Painting भी बच जाएगा, नहीं painting I think it is a part of the today's class itself. So near about 35-36 questions will be remaining for tomorrow's class, and then 40 के round आज we will see, ठीक है? And trend also will let you know. एक बार connect हो जाने दो, then I'll go with that. हाँ, I'll give you a list, ठीक है? When we are ending the class, so then I'll give you a list. हो गया? So last day. ठीक है, तो we are starting with the Mughal part. Mughal में little bit I think कुछ discussion था, nothing we did. So let's look into it, and actually with this discussion many of the other questions can also be solved. So very first what is written, that the arrival of the Babur into India led to introduction of gunpowder in the subcontinent, then introduction of the arch and dome in the region's architecture, establishment of Timurid dynasty in the region. But then let me tell you something, okay, that I expect that you must be doing, and what it is basically that you develop an attitude, not attitude, that one approach whereby a particular time period, then that 30 to 40 year का period रखो. जैसे for example that if you start with the 1800 and not 1800, for 1500 until 1550. So just have a look at that, what all places that in India, in the historical part, that Mughals में क्या development हो रहा था, what was development in the southern India, who were the rulers then what was happening from the perspective of the Vijayanagar kingdom. So all the things at one place, you just create a flow chart then, or basically you just create a diagram where you are writing this age, and then उस age के side में just mention that who were the Mughal ruler, what was happening, ठीक है, little bit, single information then, and that is going to be highly helpful in not only the prelims but also mains stage of exam, because you have this multifaceted approach कि एक timeline पे what all things were there and how they were interconnected. बिना उसके नहीं हो पाएगा. तो you will have to do this exercise. Now understand, in this particular part, the arrival of Babur led into India led to introduction of gunpowder in the subcontinent. What is gunpowder? Barood. Then, and gunpowder basically it was brought to India somewhere around 1250 AD. Then, and from where gunpowder technology, it is believed to be it has come to India from the part of the China. Then, so the initial places, India has particularly southern India has a very good trade contact with the China right from the ancient times actually. And those Sangam period, particularly Chola and Pandya dynasties, all of them had a good trade with the China. Though North India से एक अलग contact था, that was through Tibet, but then South India was mainly connected with the Beijing part and this Shanghai, Taiwan and these all parts. So basically it is said that the first gunpowder came to India via this route, and moreover it came to southern India, places in Tamil Nadu like Sivakasi. So they were known, and even till today Sivakasi is famous for the gunpowder production. So 1250 के आसपास, 1250 around, it was already known to Indians, and moreover Babur's arrival in India is 1526. So first option obviously not correct. Then introduction of the arch and dome in the region's architecture. When you read art and culture, so there we talk about that arch and dome method of the construction. It all started in India from the 12th century AD. Then, so 1206 onwards also we can say. But arrival of Islam in India was 712 to be very precise, with the Muhammad bin Qasim's invasion. And that is the time that on and off that people belonging to the Islam, they are coming to the coastal part of India, particularly the western coast. So some initial domes were created in those times, but they were not big. The real beginning of arch and dome started from 1206. So then obviously this is not the Babur's thing. Then what is the last one? So establishment of Timurid dynasty in the region. I think last day we discussed that Babur's dynasty was what? Half Timurid and half Mongols. They were, from their father's side, they were the lineage of the Amir Timur or Tamerlane, and then from the mother side, Nigar Khagan, who was lineage of the Chengiz Khan. So they are half Turkish and half Mongol, and from Turkish side they are called as Timurid. So only third part is correct. Then it's a easy question. You can do it. You can solve it all the time. Now connected to it, just one information. Suppose if in exam they ask you that who introduced cannons in India, and option may they give you Babur and they give you Portuguese also. So with which option you will go with? You will have to go with the Portuguese. Then so in option may agar jo Portuguese is not given, so then you can go with the Babur. But then otherwise Portuguese were the first. When Vasco da Gama has come to India in 1498, that time itself they have brought the that cannons, top, and gunpowder was operated from the cannons. They were keeping those cannons or top on their boats. They were covering it with some sort of some sort of cloth or something, and all of a sudden they are removing it, bombarding. In fact, if you look at that the Portuguese story which I have covered, so you'll get to know more about it. Actually, with the help of the cannons only, they have created a hell lot of nuisance in the southern India. And they created enemies also. They were victorious also because of it. Once again, in Goa, 1510, when Albuquerque is going to be victorious against the Bijapuri ruler, It was all because of the usage, good usage of the cannons in the Mandavi river of the Goa. Then the river which is in the middle, जहाँ पे वो casinos and everything is there. I hope कि गए हो तो देखा होगा. So then that is one reason. तो cannons Portuguese, ठीक है. Gunpowder 1250 came from China. Now let's move on to the next question. Which one of the following foreign travelers elaborately discussed about the diamonds and the diamond mines in India? So Francois Bernier, he was a physician and doctor. But then it was Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, he was the one who has come to the Kollur mines of Andhra Pradesh. And then he got one diamond piece from there. It was somewhere around 106 carats. Then after he has sold it to the French king Louis XIV. So Tavernier was the one who came in search of the diamond. Then moreover, in today's time, can you tell me that which areas in India are still relevant from the perspective of the diamond? Panna. Okay? Panna is the area. Earlier used to be Warangal. So Warangal and basically the Andhra part was known for it. But now even till this date, the situation is that many of the people in Panna, they go and they just sieve the water. Then they search that particular thing in the water, and some of them become lucky also. They do get sometime, and once they get it, so as you know that even this much small piece of the diamond will cost you how much? 10 lakhs. Okay? So see that diamond is something whose cost goes by even that. Very zircon, small pieces, they are not so valuable. But when a diamond crosses 1 carat, its cost increases many folds. 1 carat, say 2 carat, there is a altogether different mechanism of the calculation of it. So even very small piece they get, it is worth finding that particular small piece. So this is what is about. This was a factual. And एक और चीज बता रहा हूँ. This Tavernier question ना, last I told you, इतनी बार state PCS exam में, particularly in UP PCS, 3 to 4 times they have asked in last 12 years. Then, so it was not a surprising question. And if you cover, so there I told you one source with which you can do cover. ठीक है? What I said? क्या बोला था? घटना चक्र. तो उससे previous year paper देख लो. हो सकता है आराम से. Then. With reference to Mughal India, what is the difference between or differences between Jagirdar and Zamindar? Bina dekhe batao. That without reading the question, who is Jagirdar? Have you read Mansabdari system? Okay? So Mansabdari system. So Jagirdar is the person. Okay? He is a Mansabdar who has given Jagir in lieu of his service. And what is his service? He is providing military service to king. Okay? Military service. And what is that military service? Maintaining horses and soldiers. So horses, savar. So horses and soldiers and also the weaponry. Then apart from it, and when this land grant or Jagir is given to them, so what they do, they collect revenue from it. So that is first thing. What about the Zamindars? So their Zameen or basically their land grant, is it permanent or temporary? That was permanent. Then Zamindars was permanent, and on the other hand Jagirdars, it was temporary. Then so Zamindars are given permanent land grant, which was called as Watan, and these people were given temporary land grant, Jagirdars, that was called as Tankhwah Jagir. Then तो अब इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में let's look at the question. Jagirdars were the holders of the land assignment in lieu of judicial and police duties. What is the duty? Military duty. Okay? Not judicial and police duty. Then Adha statement incorrect. Let's look at the second half of the statement. Whereas Jamindars were the holders of the revenue rights. They were holders of the revenue rights without obligation to perform any duty other than revenue collection. Is it? They were only revenue collection or something else? Law and order. Today itself you read what we wrote? Yes. So what we wrote that in Bengal, Zamindars were responsible for maintaining the law and order, and they maintained a troop of Thanedars. Then, so they not only are collecting the revenue, but they are also responsible for law and order administration. So additional duty thi, okay? So that second statement is also incorrect. But not second statement. Second part is also incorrect. Then land assignments to Jagirdars were hereditary. It is temporary. And land assignment to Zamindar were not hereditary. Opposite statement has been written. So Zamindars, and I think some of you were there in the today's class, in the morning class. So what we discussed, Zamindari, entire process we discussed. So Zamindar is a traditional class in India from the Gupta's time. And by the time of the Delhi Sultanate and Mughal period, it is a well-established institution, permanent institution. It is not a temporary institution. Got it? So not a difficult question, easy question. इसमें से दोनों में से कोई भी correct नहीं है. What we can provide? हाँ भैया, हाँ 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 हाँ. What you are asking? Strategy तो कल तो discussion किया ही था, ठीक है? See, I can't do that, ठीक है? See, and I can't do that. Ki, how come I will decide a strategy or on your behalf? I'm just giving you an indication. You have to create the strategy with it. Then see that if this would be that much easy that we create a strategy and everybody clear, so that to it's a laughable thing. Please don't argue with me. Don't argue in this regard. I am already doing what I need to do and what I must do. And what help you can get, you have to figure out. Then इसमें ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि मैं तुम्हारे लिए बैठ के पूरी स्ट्रैटेजी बनाऊं. तो विजन या नॉट जस्ट अ विजन बट फॉर any year I have 15,000 students. I can't create strategy for, and how come I can create a strategy for you? Because I don't know that what are your strengths and the weaknesses, what are your traits. So तुम किस वे में पढ़ते हो, लिख के पढ़ते हो, पढ़ के लिखते हो, ठीक है? So everything, strategy is to be created by you, dear, and you have to take inputs from it. The answer ही discussion है, और इस discussion में you have to take the inputs from it कि कैसे क्या trend जा रहा है, strategy कोई कैसे बना सकता है. तो I hope that you put a restraint on it, ठीक है? Have patience. Have patience. Then, if you don't have patience, so it cannot happen. ठीक है? तो this is what we are discussing from the last day. आज भी वही discussion चलेगा. ठीक है? उसी में से तुम figure out करो. मैं तुम्हारे बिहाफ पे तो क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट नहीं करूंगा ना बच्चा, ठीक है? तो धीरे धीरे डिस्कशन आगे बढ़ने दो. इफ यू आर एबल टू फिगर आउट, दैट्स फाइन. इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू फिगर आउट, सो ऑब्वियसली यू कैन सीक हेल्प देन आफ्टर दैट. ठीक है, चलो. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. So land assignments to Jagirdars, this part we have discussed. Then let's come to, so with references to medieval India, which one of the following is correct sequence in ascending order in terms of the size? ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या reference that generally what people miss, that you have to be very careful about the thing which is mentioned, ascending or descending order. Then so it's also something that when you read about that Mughal administration, so actually what you study, that Akbar's administration was basically the elaboration of Sher Suri's Sher Suri's technique. Then and Sher Suri's provincial administration was further expanded by Akbar. Then moreover, what he did, that Akbar divided his kingdom into many units, subunits, administrative subunits, and these administrative subunits are basically, so Suba, Sarkar, Pargana, and Mahal. Then so Suba, Sarkar, Pargana, and Mahal. Suba is what? It is the province. Sarkar is the zones. Then Pargana is kind of a district level, you can say, and Mahal was the group of the villages. Then so this is the division which I has created. It is also, since that what he asked, that ki strategy kya hai? Strategy is what is all about, that the sources that you need to refer. Last day also what we emphasized, that the sources, one of the confirmed source is your Upinder Singh, that you will be going with it. And but problem with the, not problem, that limitation of the Upinder Singh, it is there only till the 10th century AD. Uske baad se not much is there. So how you'll be doing the medieval India? You go with the Satish Chandra's book, then, and Satish Chandra's NCRT is fine. That NCRT which was there in the class 11th. So usse काफी हद तक, ठीक है, not all the questions, but then up to a great extent you will be able to solve. And even the answer, that this particular part, you read it, then everyone reads it, everyone teaches it, and then moreover, if you're going with the NCERT, so you can get this classification. So it was one of the easiest question of the paper. Then let's have a discussion on the next one. So in the context of the history of India, consider the following pairs. Now this is also a question which is not mentioned in your NCERTs then, and it is mentioned where? Once again Upinder Singh. So not everything. Then what is the strategy basically in this question? Last day bhi humne discussion kiya tha. You just actually irritated me, dear, then by asking that thing, and that too in a such a way that what you were doing the last day when we were strategy that we were discussing. What is the strategy? I discussed everything that agar jo cutoff kam hai, so what is the strategy? That you leave that question if it is difficult then. So be attentive rather than just for the sake of the asking question. Don't put like this way. Then, so have patience and go through what has been discussed last day. So let's come to this part, which is, so this is a question of 2016. So last year we discussed 7-year paper, and this year we have discussed, that we have increased the ambit of it. So Iripatti, this question, so Iripatti, Tanures and the Ghatikas. So इसमें से जो सबसे ज़्यादा popularly known है, that is Ghatikas, but let's look at the questions one by one. Iripatti is basically a category of the land, and that category of the land, that whatever revenue that is getting generated, suppose मान लो that Karol Bagh is the area, then, and in Karol Bagh, entire Karol Bagh constituency, that ORN has been kept as a Iripatti. So whatever revenue that is getting generated or that is getting collected from the ORN, so wo revenue they were keeping it for the maintenance of the water tanks then. And water tanks were very important. See that when you look at the South Indian history, and this Iripatti sources, there is one more book that is called as Neelakantha Sastri, History of South India. So you will find that large number of the rulers, the Cholas, Cheras, everyone has written so many inscriptions about the water preservation. Why? What is the reason? That water preservation is basically because of that rivers are ephemeral in nature, then they are not perennial in nature. So there is a need of rainwater harvesting devices, and also there must be a water tank. So they maintained this kind of thing. So many of the inscriptions, Iripatti is mentioned, and so as that the revenue generated from it will be kept for the water tank maintenance. So this is what they have written. I'm reading from here, you can read from there. Land revenue from which was set apart for the maintenance of village tank. So village tank is basically water tank. Then Tanures. So this is also, let's understand what they have written first. Villages donated to single Brahmin or group of Brahmins. So actually, when you read the Gupta history part, and so as when it goes on to the history part of the southern India, so villages which are donated to the Brahmins, they are known as Agrahara, then, and they are known as Brahmadeya. So Agrahara, Brahmadeya, Devadeya, then. So these are the name of the villages which were given to the Brahmins. But then Tanures was not a village. So any part of the history, be it the northern or be the southern, Agrahara and Brahmadeya are the two common terms for the Brahmin villages. Then now Tanure, which is mentioned, so when you read about the Chola administration, there, just like the subdivisions which we have mentioned at the Akbar's time, so subdivisions I am telling you at the time of the Cholas, what were the subdivisions? So they created the upper level, just like the Suba is the province in the Mughal, Chola Mandalam is the area in the province in the Chola area, Chola Empire. Then after Chola Mandalam, that Mandalam, then after Mandalam, Valanadu, then Valanadu, Nadu and Tanayur and Ur. Then so let me write this part. मैं थोड़ा सा इसको board को use करूँगा. Then I'll come back to this part. So these are the divisions. That initial part is called as Mandalam. So Mandalam is province. Then comes after Mandalam Valanadu, then comes Nadu, then comes Tanayur, And actually, how they write, some books have written Tanur like this, Ur. Then, but here it is in UPSC question, they have mentioned Y. Okay? But the pronunciation is same, Tanur or Ur. And then comes the smallest division is Ur. So, Mandalam province, Valanadu is just like the Sarkar of the Mughal period, and Nadu are the group of the villages, and Tanur is the big village with administration, and this is the smallest administrative unit in the Chola administration. Then, so this is the smallest one. So now, this is what is about that. So this is also you do in the classes. Then, when you are aware about it, I think then you will be able to eliminate 2. And even if you don't know Iripatti and the Ghatika, you can go ahead with it. Then, so now the third part, Ghatika, colleges generally attached to the temples. Now understand that what are the names of the colleges attached to the temples? What is colleges? Or basically the Vedic Pathsalas. Then, so in today's time also, if you go to the southern India, and if you look at that big temples of the southern India, so you will find a terminology over there that they mention Ghatika. So Ghatika is basically the students are taught over there. Then if you go to Tirupati, so Tirupati they call it Veda Pathasala. Then, and if you go to Karnataka temples, they called that Veda Ghatikas. Then if you come to North India, so they also call it Veda Pathasala. Then, so if the Vedic chanting is happening, so Pathasala and the Ghatikas are a common word which are used in different places. So if it comes Vedic Pathasala or Veda Pathasala, then so that means that these are the Gurukulas, okay? And Gurukul bhi word use hota hai. Gurukul Pathsalas. Then, so Gurukul Pathsalas, there are 2 types of the Gurukul Pathsalas. One is the Gurukul Pathsala which is separated from the temples, but then there are some temples which have the Gurukul Pathsala, meaning that there the Vedic chanting, mantras and the prayers related to Hinduism are taught. So Ghatikas, Vedic Pathsala and the Gurukul Pathsala. So Ghatika to isme diya hua hai, but then the other ones you need to remember. So let me come with that एक और चीज है, ठीक है? Just let me go back to this part. Home, fine. So just 1 minute. Now these are the other types of the land. If you want to mention it, you can mention it. Then, so now other types of the land. So here, Velen Vagai, ठीक है? So land of the non-Brahmin peasant, ठीक है? And proprietor means meaning they are holders of the land. क्योंकि holders of the land, you understand? Meaning they have hereditary rights. Then, so non-Brahmins. Then Brahmadeya, lands which are gifted to Brahmanas. Salabhog, land which is given for a maintenance of a school. Then Devadan Tirumattukoni is land gifted to the temples. And then Palichadam, it is land donated to the Jain institution, Jain temples or Jain monks or Jain traders. Then, so this is what are the types of land. I don't think that ki when next time they are going to ask you any question related to the land from the southern India, तो इस नाम के बाहर नहीं होगा, ठीक है? Then let's move on to the next one. So with reference to the economic history of medieval India, it was a difficult question. I'll tell you the source first. So with reference to the economic history of medieval India, the term Araghat refers to, when this question came, people were that, you know, that UPSC market is very fast because people try to that get to know the answers very quickly, and particularly history के answers जल्दी मिल जाते हैं. Araghat people were not able to find that from where UPSC has given, and then later on it was figured out that it was given in the book which is mentioned, which is written by Irfan Habib. Have you heard? He is one of the famous historian from the Aligarh University, and then also he has written a lot on the modern Indian history, and then also the Delhi Sultanate part and the previous part, basically that other part of the Mughals also. So there are 8 to 9 books of the Irfan Habib on it, and these books, and in fact there is a book on the Mughals also. So there he has mentioned about the Araghat, and moreover that Irfan Habib's book is more older than Upinder Singh's book. So in Upinder Singh also, recent edition, I think after this has come in the exam, recently it was added into it. Then उस समय पे उस पेपर में नहीं था. तो what is अरघट्ट? See that term based. What we did last day, कि लास्ट दिन हमने देखा था कि what from what all areas the questions are coming. So terminology से this is a terminology and how many questions were there? 6 questions were there from the terminology in last 10 year. So it means that every alternate year you can expect a question from the terminology. Then, so what is it? This Araghatta. Bonded labor already we have seen in the previous question. What was it? Or forced labor. ठीक है? Visti. Then land grant made to military officers. That is called as Jagir. ऐसे answer deduce करो. ठीक है? तो bonded labor you have studied. That land grant made to military officers is Jagir. It's that B तो automatically you can remove. Then fourth one पढ़ो. Wasteland converted to cultivated land. And then water wheel used in the irrigation of the land. So basically answer is the water wheel. It is also called as the Persian wheel, but the use of the Persian wheel in India was already there from 850 onwards. Then, and how it has come to India, because large number of the people from the Persian part of the world, Arabian part of the world, they are arriving in India from very long time. So very good example is that Arabs established their first contact outside the Arab world was in the coastal area of India. One of the reason is easy navigation through Arabian Sea. Then, and how come this easy navigation is happening? This easy navigation is happening with the monsoon winds. Then, so advancing monsoon, they come to India easily with the direction of the wind, and in retreating monsoon, they go back to the Arab world. So it led to creation of, okay, so it led to creation of one of the oldest mosque of the world in India itself, and this one of the oldest mosque outside the Middle Eastern part of the world is in Kerala, and this mosque was created in the 7th century AD itself. Name of the mosque was Chairman Juma. Then, so it is a still surviving mosque and still it is a functional mosque. So they had good contact, and those are the time when the Persian wheel has arrived in India. So this Persian wheel was used for water lifting and irrigation of the land. Then, so this is one thing, that Persian wheel. But क्या इसके पहले भी कोई instance है whereby that some mechanized system is there for the purpose of irrigation in the Indian history? Anywhere? So some sort of mechanized system, ठीक है? It was there in the Indus Valley civilization itself. Where? City of Dholavira. Then, so city of Dholavira, but they have created this system through that gradient of the gradient or altitude of the area. So basically, that radial drainages were created then, and these radial drainages, that the rainwater. So if in the, just suppose that if it's a high platform area, so from there they have created the drainages that all the rainwater goes from it and it is going to a particular kind of a water tank. And then many blockages were there, many lifters were there. So they all were creating it very scientifically. That was one of the initial instance of, we can't say that completely mechanical, but then some thought process was there in the Dholavira. And then water lifting mechanism effectively starts from this particular time. So we'll say this particular time. But then another water lifting mechanism that is still you must have seen. कैसे होता है? जैसे there are the bamboo sticks which are kept, and in the middle there would be a bamboo stick and the that particular bucket or something. ठीक है? It goes down. So it is hand operated. Then, so that is there from the inception of the civilization in India. So this was, obviously it was a very difficult question, and only option that you have in this type of the question, last day also we discussed, कि ऐसे type के questions में it is better not to attempt that question if you don't know at all. See, history is a section, or ancient medieval, and even ancient medieval is a section, it's very clear that either you know or you don't know. अब ये बताओ, in this fact, if there are combinations, so then you can go with some strategy. जहाँ combination ही नहीं है तो कौन सा strategy लगाओगे? Only one strategy you will play. Either you know or you don't know. See, one thing I just wanted to say you कि elimination strategy को लोगों ने इतना popularize किया that previous year UPSC eliminated elimination, and that's why your cutoff was 76. So that is what is the reason that no strategies will work except reading or widening your resources in these areas. And moreover, you are not here, मान लो जैसे जो भी एग्जाम है, ठीक है, सो इफ यू टॉप द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन, will प्राइम मिनिस्टर कम टू यू एंड से टू यू कि आपको मेंस देने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको इंटरव्यू देने की जरूरत नहीं है, यू हैव टॉप द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन, नाउ यू आर सेलेक्टेड? Obviously not. Then, so strategy has to be devised in the exam day itself. If the paper is easy, that whatever, if you have studied well throughout the year, सारे sources जो भी normal sources market में prescribed हैं उसको पढ़ते हो, तो if you feel that easily question solve हो रहे हैं, कुछ न कुछ हो रहे हैं, तो then the paper is easy. There you have the scope of maximizing your attempts. Then obviously you must maximize because cutoff will go high. So you have to maximize your attempt. But when you are seeing that, first of all, you have to keep a belief in yourself. अगर जो अच्छे से पढ़ा है ना, तो फिर अगर question solve नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो then consider, have belief in yourself that paper is tough. And if you are attempting less, so then obviously that it is not detrimental to you, maybe you will clear the exam. So literally what I have seen that last year wala paper जिसमें cutoff was 76, that is just 38%. So I saw the people who have attempted hardly 65 to 70 questions, they all cleared the exam, and there were people who went overboard for 94 questions, they were not in the list. So then and there you will have to decide. And issue क्या होता है ना, that one of the biggest issue is our own expectation, that we study less but we all feel good that कि हो जाता तो अच्छा होता, then we all have a wishful thinking कि होना चाहिए. So that must not be there, because first of all we need to accept the reality that how good is our preparation. Let me tell you something about it, that how you assess your preparation. Basically, when you give so many tests, and you must give a good chunk of the test before your prelims examination. So before prelims examination, if you will ask me, let's say 2025 is on, I think in last of the May. So last of the May, the exam is there. Before 15th of May, you must be giving, ठीक है, अभी से starting, you must be giving at least 40 tests of the GS. इतना तो होना चाहिए. And in this 40 test, what you get to know, your own strength and weaknesses and your own traits. So what trait of yours is important is that what is your attrition rate? What is attrition rate? Attrition rate is basically that if you are attempting, suppose 90 questions, 90 may say how much you are attempting correct and then how much you are attempting wrong. Look at, so just note down in a paper with every test that how much you have attempted, how much you are, that how much is wrong, and then after the 10 test you get the pattern, that what is your pattern. So there are people who who attempt more and their incorrect attempt is 1/3 and correct attempt is the 2/3. So this is the last scenario, that if your incorrect attempts are 1/3, so then maybe sometime you can clear exam, sometime you may not clear exam. If you bring it down to 25%, so then definitely you will clear exam. So what must be your objective, that if you are attempting more, तो ये जो incorrect attempt है, it must be in between closer to 25%. And if you are attempting less, then your incorrect answers must be around 18 to 15%. So 18 to 15%. So that trend you will have to observe for yourself. और ये एक टेस्ट से कभी नहीं पता चलेगा. So you will have to give at least 10 tests for it, and 10 tests में you just go through. Another mistake people do, that I have come across some people that who are saying कि हमने बहुत टेस्ट दिया लेकिन हमसे हो ही नहीं रहा आगे, that I'm not getting good marks in the prelims examination. The one question which I asked to them, did you analyze your paper? Then, so if you have given a paper for 2 hours, next 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you must give it for the analysis. Then, and you will be analyzing your paper. Nobody else can analyze, because suppose यही question है, ठीक है, that लेट्स लीव दैट क्वेश्चन, प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन पे जाते हैं जिसमें किसी में एलिमिनेशन हो, ठीक है. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस ओनली द एलिमिनेशन इज देयर. सो नाउ you only know that while reading this option what thought process was there in your mind. So how you'll be doing analysis, that वो thought process को एक काम करो, इसके सामने पेपर में लिख दो that what you were thinking at this point of time, and it must be done immediately. आज अगर जो पेपर दिया है तो you will have to analyze your paper immediately. Then go to the second one. So what is the thought process, why you change the option? Sometimes it happens that at the very first instance we feel that this is the answer and later on we change our answer. So then you will have to evaluate your hunch also. And believe me, 90% of the time your first hunch is a correct option. Have you felt that? Or have you seen that? You will see. So why you changed that also you write. So 2 से 2 घंटे से ज़्यादा analysis is equally important to perform better. Otherwise nobody can tell you. I will just say कि 1 घंटे बैठ के तुमसे बात कर लिया. I will not get to know that what kind of personality you are, what kind of strengths and weaknesses you are. I can give you just for the sake of selling a business. I can tell you कि हाँ नहीं ऐसे कर लो वैसे कर लो. But then reality is that this exercise has to be done by you then, and if you're not doing it, so maybe some sort of faulty preparation is happening from your end. So do this analysis then. It is must. अगर जो नहीं करना है तो पेपर मत दो then. So जितने भी पेपर 10 ही पेपर दो, but 10 पेपर का analysis जरूर करो, and that will help you a lot in being resilient in the exam. Done. So let's move on to anything else. If you want to ask, so you can ask, ठीक है, पूछो, ठीक है, because obviously this is for that only. तो have you started giving the test papers or everything? Some of you, ठीक है, some of you have started, ठीक है. तो make a schedule that from this is October, and October is the month of the festivities. So just decide that after the end of the festivities, week on week basis, how many tests you are going to give then. So though the very full-fledged preparation of PT starts from the February when the notification come, but you must start it from November, December itself. Mains bhi karo, but साथ साथ में prelims, and prelims preparation must be happening in the form of the test papers then. So decide a particular section. I hope many of you, all of you, or good number of you are enrolled in the Vision. Vision में भी नहीं हो, in any other institute also if you are enrolled. So do go with the test series. Test series के हिसाब से जैसे just look at that what all portions they will be asking, and उस portion को prepare करो and then give the test. Then give the test and analyze the test. Then so that's how you will be in a very comfortable zone. And I haven't seen anybody who has given 40 tests and they have done analysis of it. They have not cleared the prelims exam. Almost in all the cases, barring 1 or 2, I have seen they have cleared the forest services prelims also. So do that exercise and kam se kam 40 test mein, and then don't compromise on the CSET also. It is one of the pitfall that CSET you have to at least kam se kam 10 to 12 tests you must be giving, and CSET you can start from January, not now. So abhi GS preparation you embolden, and then you start with the CSET from January. If you're weaker on mathematics or aptitude portion, take a class. Don't think twice, take a class. Not necessarily somebody who is from the UPSC industry. If you know somebody who's good in mathematics then or aptitude, take a class of theirs, or if you want to do online or with YouTubing, do that. Then it is very much required. So let's go on to the next question. So it's you can do it. Banjaras during the medieval period of Indian history were generally agriculturalists, warriors, weavers, and traders. Then, so first of all, Banjara community, in which part of India they are famous? Rajasthan, okay? Rajasthan, Gujarat. And basically, Banjaras were the one who were crossing the Thar Desert. Then, so they were crossing the Thar Desert, and Thar Desert cross karke, they were going to the Pakistan part. From there, the trade was happening, and from there, the trade to this part. So, when we read about that Alauddin Khilji's regime, so it is said that he happens to be the first monarch of India who used the services of the Banjara community in a very effective way. And during his time, these Banjara community people, they are nomadic, meaning that एक जगह से दूसरी जगह move करते हैं. So they keep ponies. Ponies, you know, ठीक है? The middle version of the horse and the donkey. So they keep ponies, and on the ponies they keep all the stuff, and they can cross the desert also, and they can go to the plain areas also. So they used it, and later on even Jahangir has also effectively used the services of Banjara community. Then moreover, associated with it, one of the part related to it, I'm telling you that in the Banjara community there are two dances, that art forms which are popular. Then so art forms, अब ये history का portion हो गया कि they are good in trade. From art and culture, that some of the Banjaras, they used to sing a song, and those who are singing song, they were called as Manganihar. Then so Manganihar, and it is derived from the local word which is basically popular in Bhojpuri also and in Rajasthani also. So Manganihar is what? Mangane wale. Okay? So they are Mangane wale, but then if they are, and what Mangane wale? The Bhiksha, okay? Or alms. Then so they are seeking the alms, but then they will sing, and in return of that singing they will take it. Then another very popular dance in the Banjara community. So Manganihar has also been asked in exam 1 year. Then can you tell me the dance of the Banjara community? Kalbelia. Okay? So Kalbelia dance, Banjara dance nahi hota hai. So Kalbelia dance, and in this Kalbelia, it's a kind of a snake kind of movement used to be there. So that is also included in the UNESCO intangible list. Then that was also asked in the exam. So these three things are connected. This is what I'm saying. कि एक पेपर जो बिगिनिंग में हमने बात किया कि एक पेपर बनाओ, इन दैट पेपर सपोज दैट दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज देयर, so they are the trading, but then their cultural things have also you have written. So this you can do in your notebook. Then after your modern is over, and after your ancient medieval and art and culture is over, so then this type of the note you can create, and this will be very handy just before exam, either prelims or the mains examination. You can easily revise it. Then let's move on to the next part. Which of the following phrases define the nature of the Hundis generally referred in the sources of the post-Hearst period? Forget about the question. Tell me Hundis, where you have seen the Hundis? It is? नहीं, ऐसे नंबर ऐसे बताओ अभी बिना इस क्वेश्चन को देखे हुए. Have you seen any place where जहाँ पे जाते हो और हुंडी लिखा हुआ है? Temples. Very good, exactly. You go to any temple in India, either they will be writing Dana Patra or Hundi. Then, so what is the purpose of the Hundi in the temples? Money. You keep money. So Hundi is associated with the money. Then, so Hundi is associated with the money. That is first indication that you are getting. Then apart from it, why this question was asked in 2020? इसकी वजह भी बता रहा हूँ. This question obviously it is not there in the that Upinder Singh or किसी source में नहीं है, but it is given in a kind of that research papers. एक book release हुई थी in 2018 I think. The name of the book was Lakshmi Nama, and during the COVID period it became quite popular. So in this book he has listed, the writer has listed that the important merchants or the rich people of India, not the rulers then, but then banking kind of people, capitalist type of the people, there they have written. So in Lakshmi Nama, it has been mentioned that Hundi tradition started from the post-Hearst period and it continued even till the Bengal. Then Bengal mein Jagat Seth scenario. Then you have read about the Jagat Seths. Then so they all were using Hundi. And what was this Hundi? It's a kind of an initial kind of credit facility. What is credit facility? Loan dena. Then so through the Hundi, it was kind of a signed check or bill of exchange कि एक paper पे assurance है इतने पैसे का, और this is a bill of exchange कि in the later phase और बाद के किसी time पे the person will be returning it. Then so this is hundi and used from post. So post Harsh time क्या है? After 700. Then it is very continuous and even till this date hundi is used. Then so hundi bill of exchange. Moreover, there are different type of the hundis depending on the amount. Then so for example, lowest level hundi in the Bengal history, it started from the 1 lakh rupees and highest was called as darsani, which was closing to 1 crore rupee. But darsani का मतलब क्या है? ठीक है, you have to be darshan. ठीक है, darshan का मतलब that की present होना पड़ेगा. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि I send somebody to the king or to the banker to get the bill of exchange. I myself will have to present over there. Then that would be assuring, and that's how on my darshan the hundi of 1 crore is given. Then so this is what is there. So on the basis of that what way it is given, there are different names, but I don't think that they will be asking you different names. Only thing that hundi is related to money, and if you know, तो then इसमें options क्या हैं? ठीक है, ज़्यादा भी नहीं पता हो तो advisory issued by the king to his subordinate, not so. A diary to be maintained for daily accounts, this is related to some sort of money, and bill of exchange, an order from the feudal lord to his subordinate. So you come across, see that this is not a question of elimination. Can you think of elimination in these type of, until and unless you have the combinations, you cannot go with the elimination. And यहाँ पे तो चलो हम सेपरेट ईयर का पेपर डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट टू विद द सेक्शन ऑफ द एंशिएंट एंड मेडिवल. बट जस्ट गो थ्रू द 2023 पेपर एज अ फुल एंड देन लुक एट इट. मतलब हार्डली 1 or 2 क्वेश्चंस वर देयर विच वर सॉल्व्ड विद द एलिमिनेशन. एंड आई टेल यू वन मोर थिंग कि 2023 में ये था. इन 2021 के लास्ट में देर आई हैड अ वन क्लास, देर वर, आई रिमेंबर द बैच ऑल्सो. सो इन द बैच इट सेल्फ दैट उस ईयर द 2021 and 2 में large number of the toppers they have come to the platform, and then everybody is talking about कि elimination method is a savior and these all. Then and something मतलब I felt कि elimination would be eliminated. In one of the class I said, ठीक है, उस time पे कि people are emphasizing a lot on the elimination method. ऐसा ना हो कि UPSC elimination को eliminate कर दे. And it circulates, it's a kind of a smart, मतलब क्लास में से लोगों ने वो क्लिप काट के सर्कुलेट भी किया था उस ईयर से. सो इट्स नॉट कि दैट गॉड इज सेइंग टू मी कि नहीं एलिमिनेशन नहीं होगा. आई एम सीइंग ना दैट व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. तो यूपीएससी विल ऑलवेज बी सुपीरियर. देन it doesn't matter that what trend is there in 2-3 years, it will find a way to make the paper difficult and to say the things in its own way. So you have to practice everything. And elimination की वजह से क्या हुआ था that लोगों ने थोड़ा पढ़ना छोड़ दिया था. ठीक है, that information, that more resources or basically better resources, people left it and people were more dependent on it. इसके पहले क्या हुआ था that there was a time from 2011 to 2014. I'll literally tell you that since the CSAT paper was included in the merit making, so those people who were from the mathematics background and those people who were there from that science background, particularly IITs and then engineering colleges, paper 2 was easy for them. Then paper 2 CSAT paper was easy for them, and those were the years when the questions were very closer to CGL level, graduate level, SSC CGL graduate level. So people used to get marks 200 में से 180, 186, 175, 176. And nobody, that good chunk of the people were not preparing for the GS. They were only going with their CSAT paper. My own cousin, you may not believe, he just got 48 marks in this paper, paper 1, and he got 192 marks in paper 2. He cleared the prelims, very first attempt, only on the basis of the CSAT. But then he fumbled and tumbled in the mains examination. Then, so that is a different thing. But those were the time. So इस basis पे लोग करते थे. अभी हाल फिलहाल में क्या हो गया? That people were more dependent on the elimination. So don't go overtly and covertly with these all methods. कि blindly मत करो. There would be opportunities, there would be situations where this will work, but not like the other time. So some of the strategic facts you need to remember, and your analytical ability must develop. So let's go into the next exercise. Then next question. In the medieval India, the term phanam refers to. So It was 2022 question. Now you see that, is there any elimination in this one? कुछ है इसमें? It's very factual. Simple सा है, either you know it or you don't know. Only one thing. Either you know it or you don't know. So here that 99% people don't know in scenario. So basically what was it? Phanam was coins. And there are, so what I have done, that I have enlisted all the other coins which were name of the coins in these time. So Ana, cash is the British word. Then Dingalo, Dokudo, Duodo, Doob. This is Gujarati. Then Escudo, any idea? Portuguese. These all were used in India. Then Phanam, Faruqi. Faruqi comes from the medieval times, Islamic word. Karshapand, have you heard about it? What is Karshapand? Majorly Karshapand puja part में use होता है, ठीक है? They that if you ask some of the priests who are very kind of that accepted and then very respected, so they must be keeping Karshapand. Then Karshapand used to be the silver coins, and they keep it in the puja part. Then so Karshapand was also a coin. In fact, in Padini's Ashtadhyayi also Karshapand is mentioned. Then Kash, Kon, Mohar. Then Naya Paisa, Pagoda, Panam, Pies. Any area where people use pi and pies and pi in India right now? मैं बताऊंगा तुम लोगों को कहाँ पे use होता है. How many of you are from Mathil belt of Bihar? कोई नहीं है क्लास में? You are from. So if you go to Darbhanga, people will be using the word pi. पैसे की जगह पे कितना पाई हो गया, ठीक है? तो there are some of it, हाँ, they use it. Then so these all, some of it they are used. Then so pi, rupiya to normal hai, suvarna, tanga and tanka. So tanga was in the beginning, but tanga became tanka, and tanka was at the time of Iltutmish. Then so his copper currency was called as tanka and his silver currency was called as jittal. Then kuch aur bhi naam hai. Then this was there. Then copper currency tanka and silver currency jittal. Silver currency of Sirsa Suri rupiah and copper currency of Sirsa Suri was dam. So these are the different coins. But then I would never say that it's easy cake to. It's not easy cake. Then so you know it or you don't know it. So that's why these 2-year paper 2022 and 2023. The lowest cutoff in the history of the UPSC. Then in last. So now let's come to another question. With reference to the Indian history, who of the following were known as Kuladara? Then, so the meaning of the word Kula, ठीक है? Kula means the topi, ठीक है? A hat. And those who were wearing that conical hats, they were called as Kuladara. So basically, who were Kuladara? That when you look at the history of the Delhi Sultanate, very first one was the slave dynasty, Turkish in origin. Then comes the Khilji dynasty. Then so Khilji is half Turkish, but then they do have some sort of half lineage from the Persia also. Then comes the third dynasty, which was Tughlaq, completely Turkish, and the fourth were Sayyids. Then so Amir Timur, कल वाली क्लास में हमने discussion किया था that 1370 onwards he started his invasion towards India, and Firoz Shah Tughlaq was the ruler at that time. So till the time of Firoz Shah Tughlaq, that is 1386-87, that not much damage has happened to Tughlaq Empire. But then after, the damage started to happen after 1388, after the death of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. And by 1398, Amir Timur has looted a lot. So those were the time when the Sayyids then were the part of the administration of the Tughlaqs then. But then Sayyids, when the general policy of Amir Timur ki koi bhi ho, or Muslim or whoever, then if they are from the enemy side, all must be eliminated, all must be killed. Then, but then he spared Sayyids. Why he spared Sayyid? Because Sayyids were there in India also, and they were there in the Turkey also. And why? And he used to protect Sayyids from very beginning. Why so? Because Sayyids claim themselves to be the lineage of the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. So they claim that their lineage or their bloodline is from the daughter side of the Prophet Muhammad. They are very respected in the Islamic community. So he spared their life. Okay? And in fact, in India, in general, they killed a lot, many people, but not the Sayyids. And in fact, when he was going back, so he appointed Khijr Khan as that caretaker of this area. The Khijr Khan continued as a caretaker of the area on the behalf of the Timur, and when the Timur's death has happened, so then after some point of time, Khizr Khan established his regime in India with the Sayyid dynasty. So that is the overall story. So called as Kuladara, and Kuladara was basically representation of their lineage from the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. And who was the daughter of Prophet Muhammad? Fatima. Then, so through her lineage, they are recognized. Then, so understand, stories are very important. Matlab, you can differ. Obviously, we all have, as we know, that we all have different traits. Some of you might be very good in fact binding, but then that majority of us, if we do have the stories, so then we tend to remember. So for example, that this itself, which I told you, if you remember this story, next time I don't think that you will be forgetting Kuladara. Then it will be there in your sub. Another thing I need to tell you, that related to the subconscious mind. Understand that generally when we look at the UPSC paper, किसी ने दिया exam, you have given I think, ठीक है? आपके अलावा कोई और भी? You 3-4 people and here also 2 people, 2-3 people. So when we go through the exam, na, so when we see the paper at the very first instance, what will be your first feeling? That I don't know but I'm not knowing the things very directly, and then moreover, majority of the paper, more than 2/3 of the paper, I don't know. Then this happens with everybody, then almost everybody. And what happens that one by one, when you start reading the question and solving the question, then you feel ki no, I am knowing. So first feeling fades away, and then comes the confident feeling. And from where it comes? It comes from your subconscious mind. So understand that the power of the subconscious mind. Many a times that after the classes, people do come to me and they say कि याद नहीं हो रहा है. I'm not able to memorize. Then, and this is why so, because you consider yourself as a superhuman. That just one reading you will do and then you'll remember everything. So you need to understand that memory does not comes in this way. Then see that if you are preparing anything, if you have studied something today, if you have not revised it within 24 hours and 3 days and 7 days, there is a very possibility that after 1 month, only 10% of it, that too with the faded memory, you will be remembering. And it will be completely washed out from your memory in 3 months. Then so you will feel ki once again the same information you are reading, it will be like that you are reading it for the first time. So that's how the human memory behaves. So you'll have to revise the things in the scientific pattern, and unless you have not revised it 5 times, then don't expect that you will be able to retain the things in a better way. So people that scientifically you are able to retain the things 85% when you have done the scientific revision. And what is scientific revision? Once again, I'm emphasizing, what you studied today, after 24 hours, you must memorize it or revise it. And revision में बहुत time नहीं लगता है, what you have studied. Then 3rd day, you will be revising it. 7th day, you will be revising it. 15th day and 1 month. This is the scientific cycle of a month. Then, so if this way you go, 85% would be always there in your memory. And last, just before the exam, so when you are revising it, closer to exam, so then it goes to 95%, 90 to 95%. Then, even in that situation, there is one thing. That suppose that if you have revised 5 times, and if I suppose to ask you a direct question, that Champak as a particular kingdom located in which of the area, so then it is very possible that you will not be able to give answer. But then if I give you 4 options, then Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir, then your subconscious memory comes to play. It will suggest you that it is Himachal Pradesh. Then, so subconscious memory plays a very vital role in this examination. You must believe in your subconscious memory rather than pestering yourself कि याद नहीं हो रहा है. कोई superhuman नहीं है, इतनी जल्दी याद नहीं होती हैं चीजें. Then, तो हैव फेथ इन योर सबकॉन्शियस मेमोरी एंड एटलीस्ट गांठ बांध के रख लो दैट कम से कम 5 रिवीजन तो एग्जाम आने के पहले हो चुका होना चाहिए. एग्जाम का रिवीजन आई एम लीविंग, ठीक है, बट 5 रिवीजन एंड दैट इन द साइंटिफिक पैटर्न. इफ यू आर गोइंग इन अ डिसिप्लिन मैनर, it will be quite helpful. Then, so let's go on to this question. It was old question and this question is mentioned in Romila Thapar. Then, so Romila Thapar वो class 6 की एक book है, early India, ancient India. So there used to be her book that ancient India in class 7th and then I think class 6th ancient India, class 7th was the medieval India. So those two books are little relevant, I would say, because obviously in that the flavor of the orientation of the subject is not there, but the fact is there. So this is mentioned over there in the Romila Thapar. It was asked in 2015. So actually these names which are given, these are the old names of the contemporary places. So जैसे वैदिक एज में रिवर्स के नाम पढ़ते हो, ठीक है, दैट इंडस, देन सतलज वाज नोन एज सतुद्री, रावी वाज नोन एज पारुष्णी. तो सेम वे चंपका वाज चंबा. वेयर इज चंबा? हिमाचल, ठीक है. देन दुर्गरा वाज जम्मू, ठीक है. सो दुर्ग एंड ओरिजिनल नेम टुडे इज द दुर्ग, देन बट देन इट इज इन द एरिया ऑफ द जम्मू एंड कुलूता इज कुल्लू, ठीक है. सो वेयर इज कुल्लू? मालाबार और हिमाचल? हिमाचल, ठीक है. सो मुझे देखना है कि इसमें क्या पूछा है. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग पेयर्स, विच ऑफ द अबव पेयर इज करेक्टली मैच्ड, ठीक है. तो 1 तो इनकरेक्ट है, 2 and 3. सो दैट, सो व्हाट इज दैट? ओनली 2 इज, दिस इज करेक्ट. कुलूता इज मालाबार, तो मालाबार. तो दिस इज ऑल्सो फ्रॉम द नॉर्मल सोर्स. सी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम क्या होता है कि हम नॉर्मल सोर्स भी अगर जो हमने नहीं पढ़ा है तो देन ऑल्सो क्वेश्चन सीम्स डिफिकल्ट. तो यू मस्ट बी वेल वर्स्ड विद द नॉर्मल सोर्सेज ऑल्सो, ठीक है. लेट्स गो ऑन टू द फैक्चुअल नेक्स्ट पार्ट. दिस इज अ इमेज विच वी हैव केप्ट so that some sort of understanding will develop. So this part was the Durgara. Chamba comes over here, done, and Kullu is basically Kullu Manali is very closer, done. So this is the Chamba part, this entire part, and then the rest of the part would be here, Kullu. Okay, so that was Kuluta. Then this is the Champaka, and this is the Durgara. So इसमें थोड़ा सा और मैं बताना चाहूँगा, little bit more. So and those were the time. It is, these places are related to the history of the Kashmir. Can you tell me that one book which has properly mentioned the history of Kashmir from the ancient times? Raj Tarangini. Very good. Okay. So Raj Tarangini, written by the Kalhan, is one of the biggest source. Then, and just for sake of asking that to know, can you tell that one very famous ruler from the 9th and 10th century from the Kashmir? Lalit Aditya. And so Lalit Aditya. And now understand. So 9th century AD, Lalit Aditya was the, there were many dynasties which have ruled in the Kashmir. Karkota dynasty. We are talking about the Karkota. And later on Dogras have come to power. So Lalit Aditya was a very famous guy. And actually during his time, some sort of development of the Buddhism towards the Tibet has started. And then moreover, he was a Hindu, but then more good patronage to Buddhist was also given. Those were also the time, 9th century, that there was a continuous attack of the Persians, okay, and Central Asians on Kashmir side. And by this time, so the people of the Central Asia, initially they were followers of the nature. But in 9th, 10th century, many of them have gone with the Islam. Then, so there were many attacks on at that point of time, and Lalit Aditya was a bigger force to reckon, who defended the boundaries of the Kashmir. So, us time pe, there were many such alliances were created. So, he was creating the alliances with the other areas. But then these three, so how it was mentioned in Romila Thapar, these three were the states, Kullu, Chamba and Jammu. They did not align with anybody. They were not meddling in anybody's affair, and they always tried to remain as a small kingdom, independent kingdom, not at an unnecessary going in fight with anybody. So they did not become enemies of anybody. They did not become friends of anybody. And for a very longer duration, till the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate, they were independent kingdoms, but the small independent kingdoms. So Durgara, Kaluta, and so as the Champaka. Then, so this is what she has mentioned, Romila Thapar has mentioned in the book. Then let's come to Once again, one more 2015 question. With reference to Indian history, which of the following is are the essential element or the elements of the feudal system? अब ये मैं पढ़ूंगा नहीं, इसका आंसर भी नहीं बताऊंगा. You read and you tell. पढ़ो, you all. That यहाँ obviously that and how you do the elimination? If you know some information, strategic information, then only you can do the elimination. And strategic information or analytical thought process is there with you. So padho, that is the very first one. A very strong centralized political authority, a very weak provincial or local political authority. So this is what they are saying about feudal system. Okay? Then second, emergence of administrative structure based on control and possession of land. Creation of lord-vassal relationship between the feudal lord and his overlord. Done. So very first one, feudalism. फिर से morning class we discussed. चलो फिर से वापस से repeat करता हूँ. When did it started in India? Satvahan period, initial beginnings. Satvahans and feudalism start with the land grant. Feudalism as a word is derived from the word fief. Fief का मतलब होता है, I'll write spelling. कहाँ लिखूँ? चलो, I'll write it over here itself. ठीक है? Give me time. It will be a better exercise. So it is basically derived from the word fief. Fief का मतलब होता है land. Done. And then if I add a word dom, fiefdom. So fiefdom meaning that the administrative relationship based on the land, and it is the case of fiefdom is the case of the Europe. So fiefdom is a word which was used in the Europe, and the correct pronunciation of it in the Indian scenario would be the feudalism. ठीक है? तो feudalism की लैंड के बेस पे जो रिलेशनशिप हो, दैट इज फ्यूडलिज्म. डन. तो इसमें से देखो कौन सा है. क्रिएशन ऑफ लॉर्ड वैशल रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द फ्यूडल लॉर्ड एंड हिज ओवरलॉर्ड. तो ये दोनों के बीच में रिलेशन है, इट इज देयर. बट देन द सेकेंड वन, इमर्जेंस ऑफ द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्ट्रक्चर बेस्ड ऑन द कंट्रोल एंड पोजिशन ऑफ द लैंड. तो दैट इज द दीज टू आर आंसर. बट फर्स्ट वन, अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी. जब सेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी होगी तो then obviously there would be no feudalism. Let's talk about some of examples. I'm asking a question to you. If I say to you, pehle story, to Satvahanas were the first who were giving it to the religious category, Brahmins and the later on Buddhist monks also. And then after, in Gupta period, initially land grant was not given. I'm just adding little bit more what you studied in the morning. तो गुप्ता के बिगिनिंग में क्या था, that 319 when Chandragupta first was the ruler, so that is the time when that resources were aplenty. Then at the time of the Samudragupta, they have further expanded and he was the most powerful ruler, second ruler. Then the third ruler, Chandragupta second, very enlightened. Then so Chandragupta second time comes to an end by 415. And then comes Kumaragupta and Skandagupta. Then, so even Kumaragupta and Skandagupta were the powerful ruler, and combining both of their tenure, so it comes to an end by 467. 467 के बाद the problem in the Gupta territory started. And what was the problem? Problem was invasion of the invaders Hunas, then who are coming from the Indo-Greek area, or basically the area between Greece and Afghanistan. So they are coming from that area, they were invading. These Hunas, they have looted the resources and basically majority, that a good chunk of the gold coins of Guptas. So now there was a problem which came before the Gupta rulers, how to make payment to their officers. Now they adopted feudalism. Then, so feudalism, basically they started granting lands. Then, and that's the true beginning of the feudalism in India. Now, so understand, if I give you two options, or maybe in next year or kabhi kisi year mein pooch le, that Mauryas and the Guptas, who were more centralized? Which of the following rulers were more centralized, Maurya rulers or Guptas? Mauryas. Then, was there any feudal system in Mauryas? Nothing. But the feudal system started in the Gupta. Okay? So, when you grant the land, meaning that you are giving little bit, you are sharing your power with the others also. Pehla dekho. Very strong centralized political authority. In any feudalism, centralized political authority would not be there. If it is centralized, so it will not be feudalism. Then so the first is incorrect. Then second and third, easily it can be figured out. Emergence of the administrative structure based on the control and possession of land, fiefdom, and then creation of vassal-lord relationship. So what is vassal-lord relationship? ये भी I'll create a. So fiefdom, the word I have written. Let me do this exercise over here. Just give me 1 minute. So fiefdom के basis पे, ठीक है? What happens? A structure I'm creating over here. So there is a feudal lord. Then a feudal lord will emerge. In India's case, we can call it Samantwad or Zamindar. Then इसके होंगे vessels. Then so this feudal lord will be giving it to the vassals. Then ठीक है, it goes on to the peasants. So this is the relationship. Finally, what peasants are doing? Peasants are cultivating on the land, and vassals are the intermediary between the feudal lord and then the peasants. They collect the revenue, and that's how they hand over to the feudal lord. And this feudal lord will give some of it to the, in case of India, Gupta empire is there, so Gupta monarch. Little bit of it they hand over to them, and they retain their fiefdom. So this is what used to be the relationship scenario. Got it? Chalo. So let's move on to the, I think our this part is art and culture start hona hoga.
Does the vast syllabus of general studies for the UPSC Prelims overwhelm you to initiate your preparation for the civil services examination? Is your apprehension and self-doubt coming in the way of your success in joining the civil services? Comprehend your preparation for UPSC Prelims 2025 with the fast-track course targeting general studies with innovative curriculum, revision and mentorship. Starting from 19th November at 1 p.m, the course offers coverage of UPSC GS Prelims subjects, dedicated mentorship support and guidance for performance maximization, access to PT 365 classes for current affairs preparation, sectional mini tests for regular assessment and performance, personalized student portal to access study material, access to live and online classes. Enroll today and make prelims your stepping stone to proceed to the UPSC mains.
Yes, हाँ, overlord मतलब feudal lord के ऊपर monarchy would be there. And so they are the overlord. Now just look at this question. This is the question, I have kept it for just once. 2015 का, but exactly same question was asked in 2014. No change, not even a single word change. Then, so just look at it. Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of Buddha? Avanti, Gandhar, Kosla, Magadh. Let me create one map of India, small one, and I'll elaborate it. So just give me a little bit of time to make you understand the answer of this question. And in the classes, people will, that once you have done this exercise, तो भूलने का तो नहीं आएगा, ठीक है? Only this much portion, I think it will be enough for our understanding. So understand that when we read about Buddha's life or Buddha's life cycle, let's talk about some aspect associated with him. Buddha was born in 563 BC at a place called Lumbini. Then, so let me create, Lumbini is over here in Nepal. Then after, he left his home and his kingdom was Kapilvastu. Kapilvastu is this area. Okay? दिख रहा है ना इस पे? So this entire part is Kapilvastu. Kapilvastu right now, it is half, that original area half in UP and half in Nepal. Then after, he left his home at the age of 29. He is going to Bodh Gaya over here. So Gaya district. Then after attaining Nirvana in Bodh Gaya, he is moving to which place? Kasi. Okay? Sarnath. So Sarnath is basically Banaras. And then after, he is preaching his doctrine over here in Sravasti. and finally he is reaching to a place over here, Kushinagar. Then this is the place where the entire life cycle of Buddha was completed. He hasn't gone beyond this circle. Then, so Buddha's life started from the east and ended at the north, then in Kushinagar. So this is how it has ended. Now understand, when you read Vedic period, so early Vedic period and then you go on to the later Vedic period. And the end of the later Vedic period happens in the 6th century BC. 6th century BC in the Indian history is known for many developments. Some of the developments is the emergence, one of the very important development, emergence of the religious reform movements. And what are these religious reform movements? Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika. Then iske alawa, emergence of the 16 Mahajanpads in India. Then, so 16 Mahajanpads, and what are these 16 Mahajanpad? Big territorial states. Then, so big territorial states have emerged, and big territorial states with having some sort of administrative system. What were the administrative systems in it? Some of them were monarchy, meaning kingdom. Some of them were oligarchy. Oligarchy ka matlab, they are ruled by a group of people, and some of them were republics. What do you mean by republic? Elected head used to be there. Then, so what are these Mahajanpadas? Then, so let me tell you in this area. Ab yahan pe, so ye entire circle which I have created, the Mahajanpadas which will be there. So ye, this part is the Malla Mahajanpad. Kushinagar is in the Malla Mahajanpad where Buddha has died. Lumbini also comes in the Malla Mahajanpad, Kapilavastu also. Then there is a area over here that is called as Mahajanpad of the Vajji. And Vajji was the area that today's area of the Vaishali in Bihar is Vajji. Then Bodh Gaya falls in the Magad. Then Kasi was another Mahajanpad. Then so Kasi was one Mahajanpad, and then Shravasti falls in Kosal. Then तो अब इसमें से देख लो, इसमें से जो है, ठीक है, which all Mahajanpad are touching the important life places of the Buddha, that is there in the, where is Avanti? Avanti is Ujjain over here. Buddha never went to Ujjain. And where is Gandhar? Over here, Pakistan, ठीक है, in northwest frontier province. He has never been to Gandhar. So this is cut, and Kosal and the Magad are your options, ठीक है. So if you know the life events, if you understand कि बुद्धा का life ऐसे end हो गया, and if you know the location of these Mahajanpadas, so I would always say that whenever you are reading Mahajanpada, that's what also I do, कि मैं class में map बना के, and then I put it on the map itself, so that area you must know that where these Mahajanpadas are located. Then, so 2014 this question was there, and exact same question was repeated in 2015. Then, so let's move on to the next one. Sorry. Is it done? Fine. So with reference to 2016 question, with reference to religious history of India, consider the following statement. Then, the concept of Bodhisattva is central to Hinian sect of Buddhism. Bodhisattva is a compassionate one on his way to enlightenment. Bodhisattva delays achieving his own salvation to help all the sentient beings on their path to it. Then, so it's simple based on the definition of the Bodhisattva. So let me tell you the definition of the Bodhisattva. Who is Bodhisattva? Achha, anybody who has been in any of the culture class of mine? You two have been, complete ho chuka hai na? So you know it, na? That what we do in that. So who is Bodhisattva? Understand. Bodhisattva are considered as the previous birth of the Buddha. Then they are considered as the previous birth of the Buddha. Then the next part. They are capable of achieving nirvana. Then so nirvana is one highest stage in the Buddhism, whereby what is nirvana? That in nirvana, that it is the extinguishment or extinction of the flame of desire. What does it mean? That those all cravings and the desires which are there in the human beings, that comes to an end. And excessive craving, morbid craving, possessive craving. It's not about the need. मुझे प्यास लगी है, पानी पीना है, पानी की क्रेविंग हो रही है, ये गलत वर्ड है. पानी की क्रेविंग नहीं है, पानी की नीड है मुझे, ठीक है. तो दिस इज नॉट एक्सेसिव डिजायर. बट व्हाट इज एक्सेसिव डिजायर? I just want to loot you all. Then then so that is desire. Then moreover, I just want ki you must, that somebody that a college examination you all fail and I only pass, and I will pass on some magazine, Ganda magazine in your, just like in the movie, what is that, Three Idiots, then so that is your desire. So basically here it is end of all those extreme desires, and extreme desires are hatredness, then jealousy, then so kisi se jealousy, kisi se hatredness, then so these are, and extreme cravings, then that अपनी बेनिफिट के लिए दूसरे को नुकसान पहुंचाना, तो निर्वाणा, देन सो निर्वाणा इज इट, दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल एनलाइटनमेंट, दैट यू गॉट एनलाइटेंड एंड यू आर मूविंग अबव ऑल दीज वर्ल्डली थिंग्स. देन सो now say what I'm saying, the definition of the bodhisattva is considered as the previous birth of Buddha. He is capable of achieving nirvana. Word what we have used, capable of achieving nirvana. Capable का मतलब ये है कि capable तो हो, बने तो नहीं हो. If I say that you are capable of becoming IAS officer, तो यू आर कैपेबल ना, अभी तो बने नहीं हो, ठीक है, जब बन जाओगे तो देन आई विल कॉल यू IAS ऑफिसर. सो दे आर कैपेबल ऑफ अचीविंग निर्वाणा. नाउ इन योर केस इफ आई से कि यू आर कैपेबल ऑफ अचीविंग निर्वाणा, व्हाई आई एम सेइंग, बिकॉज यू हैवंट गिवन द एग्जाम दोगे तब तो बनोगे. सो इन दिस केस व्हाई बोधिसत्वास आर नॉट अचीविंग निर्वाणा. So one of the thing associated with the nirvana, that once you achieve nirvana, so there would be no next birth. Buddhists believe in the rebirth, and once you achieve nirvana, so there would be no next birth. अब अगला birth नहीं होगा. And actually Buddha or Buddhism considered कि rebirth is the cycle which leads to the misery of the life. Then so once the rebirth has ended, तो misery जिंदगी की खत्म हो गई, ठीक है. तो when you attain nirvana, you will not be reborn. So that's why they avoid कि अगर जो निर्वाणा अचीव कर लिया तो दे विल नॉट बी बॉर्न. बट यू कैन आस्क अ क्वेश्चन, व्हाई दे वांट टू बी बॉर्न अगेन? देन so the answer is that bodhisattvas are the people who help other people in attaining, they help others to attain nirvana. Those people who cannot help themselves, they are helping those people to attain nirvana. Then and that's why they take so many birth. Then getting it? तो जितना birth उतने ही ज़्यादा लोगों को they can help. So what are they? They are compassionate or they are less compassionate? They are compassionate. They are compassionate to people because their own purpose is not important. What is important? The other's purpose. So this is one thing. Then another thing which is said, that after many lifetimes, when they have helped large number of the people, so their last birth happens, and in that birth they become Buddha. ठीक है? So in that birth they become Buddha. So they are born as a Buddha. And then after that Buddha is gone, तो उसके बाद फिर Bodhisattvas. And then one more Buddha would be born. So let's understand. एक question आगे आने वाला है, उसका मैं आंसर अभी दे दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है? So understand that the Mahayana Buddhism, because Bodhisattva concept is there in the Mahayana Buddhism. So Mahayana Buddhism says that Siddhartha Gautam was not the only Buddha. ठीक है? He was the Buddha of our age. We have witnessed him. But in the other age, there were other Buddhas also. And in future also, there would be another Buddha who will be called as Maitreya. So now, in between, so when Siddhartha Gautam, the Buddha, died 483 BC. So 483 BC से लेकर अब तक के बीच में, according to the Mahayana concept, there are many Bodhisattvas born. और उसी में से कोई एक बोधिसत्वा in the Kalyug will become Maitreya. So Maitreya is the Buddha who is yet to arrive. Just like that in Hinduism it is said that 10 incarnations of the Lord Vishnu. And what is the 10th? Kalki avatar. Then, so Kalki hasn't happened, he is yet to arrive. Just like in the Buddhism, Maitreya Buddha is yet to arrive. So how you can solve these type of question? Understanding the concept. And there, actually fault is not yours. It's something that you need to get a good teacher. The reality is that you need to get a good teacher who has the understanding of these subjects. They can make you understand these all stuff. Then you solve it better way in the examination. If you just do the reading of the books, I don't think that there is a much clarity in the books. And moreover, the guidebooks which are there in the market, guidebooks are, I would not criticize much because helpful to hote hain kuch na kuch had tak. But then bombardment of the information is given and everybody is in a kind of a race, kitna question claim kar lein. ठीक है. So how many questions I do claim कि मेरी book से आया है, तुम्हारी book से नहीं आया है, then so like this way. So this is what is one thing. But then if you go through the original books and if you have a good professor who can make you understand or good teacher in the industry itself who can make you understand, I don't think that these kind of conceptual things in the Buddhism you will be ever be making wrong. Then so now let's look at the answer part of it. So central to Hinian sect of Buddhism? No, Hinian sect nahi, it is Mahayana Buddhism. In Hinian Buddhism, they don't do the idol worship and they don't bring any other concept. Then, so they only go with the that non-idol worship and Buddha in a symbolic form. So this is a Mahayana concept, Bodhisattva. And in number of the time you'll be reading, Bodhisattva is a compassionate one on his way to enlightenment. So he is a compassionate one. And on his way to enlightenment, meaning that his enlightenment is what? That helping the others. And with helping others, maybe in the many, that after many births, he may become Buddha. Then the third one, Bodhisattva delays achieving his own salvation to all the help. This is what we discuss. So this is what the definition of the Bodhisattva. एक बार फिर से सुनना definition so that it goes into your mind well. They are considered as the previous birth of the Buddha. They are capable of achieving nirvana, but they postpone their own nirvana to help all the sentient beings on the planet Earth. And after many lifetimes, when they have helped large number of the people, they progresses to become Buddha. Then, so that is what is the definition of the Bodhisattva. If you remember this definition, if you remember that what are the parts and meanings of it, you will be always able to correct it. So let's move on. With reference to religious history of India, consider the following statements. Sautantrika and Samitriya, it is also a factual question. So it is all about the coverage. So this information is given in the A.L. Basam, okay? And A.L. Basam is wonder that was India. There was the time when UPSC used to ask some question from the A.L. Basam, but then any general resource you are referring, you will get to know. So last class में कुछ discussion किया था क्या मैंने branching of Buddhism or something? Did I mention? I think I mentioned. किस में मुझे याद ही नहीं है कब किया था, ठीक है? So or maybe in some other class I have done. Let me tell you that second Buddhist council, I think कल ही किया था, Kalashok time. So two branches were created, Mahasangika and Sthavarvad. Mahasangika and Sthavarvad. So then in 133 years, 11 branches of the Sthavarvad and 7 branches of the Mahasangika. 11 branches of the Sthavarvad included these names, Sautantrika and Samitya, and so is the Sravastivād. All of them are the part of the 11 branches. Theravada is also the part of it. So Sautantrika and Samitya are not the sects of Jainism. Okay? They are the sects of Buddhism. Second one, Sravastivād held that constituents of the phenomenon were not wholly momentary but existed forever in the latent form. What does it mean? Iska meaning samajh lo, okay? Because it is actually the Sravastivād philosophy. So those who have philosophy optional, they read it, but then little bit of it can be read in any Buddhist, any book which is mentioning some of the philosophies of the Buddhism. So what is it? They say कि अगर जो मान लो कोई चीज यहाँ पे हो रही है, ठीक है, anything which is happening, तो ये all of sudden नहीं हो रहा है. This is not happening all of sudden. All the reasons of it were already present. किसी न किसी वजह में present थे and उसकी वजह से होता है. Then, so they were present in the latent form. What is latent form? Not visible to you. Okay? But then all of a sudden it happens. Then, so for example, that suppose all of a sudden इसमें आग लग जाए, ठीक है? तो उसके आग लगने के कारण यहाँ पे होंगे पहले से. Maybe electricity का fluctuation या rats have cut some of the wires. Then, तो उसके situation पहले से थे, हमें दिख नहीं रहे हैं और अचानक से आग लग गई. So this is what they have to say, and it is a central concept in the Buddhism, not just in the Sravastivād, but then all of them they considered कि कोई भी चीज का कारण होता है, बिना कारण कोई अकारण कोई चीज नहीं होती है. So that is what is a kind of that very rational philosophy also, and Sravastivād started it, and later on it was built by many other philosophers of the Buddhism. Then, so this is in it. First one is not correct and second is correct. So I will tell you, Jainism में मैं बना के लेके आया हूँ that what are the subsects of the Jainism, ठीक है? तो उसमें देख लोगे कि these subsects if you remember, तो you will always be able to solve those questions. Then with reference to the Indian history, who among the following is a future Buddha yet to save the world? You already know. I have already discussed. Then तो concept बता दिया ना मैंने, ठीक है. अब बोधिसत्वा, चलो there are few more things which will be coming over here. So when you read the painting section, so there also we discuss about the Bodhisattva, particularly in the Ajanta cave, which is known for the Buddhism. So there are depiction of the many of the Bodhisattvas then, and Bodhisattvas are basically the people who are compassionate. Then, so there is a one Bodhisattva who is there in the this Ajanta cave. Very beautiful painting of his is there, called as Padampani. This has been asked in last 12 years, 3 times this question has been asked. So Padampani is the image of the Buddha in which he is holding a lotus then and looking at the lotus. Then he is also called as Avalokiteshwar, and the meaning of the word Avalokiteshwar, the Lord who looks down with compassion. Okay? So obviously that when you look at, so एक question एक year में था कि which of the following is the image of Avalokiteshwar, and they gave Padampani, Vajrapani, Manjushri, some of the names. So Padampani is the answer. So what is the logic that you could have applied at that point of time if you know the meaning of the Avalokiteshwar, the Lord who looks down with the compassion? So suppose that if you are holding a lotus flower, so will you look at it with the anger? आज के टाइम पे तो वैसे भी नहीं पॉसिबल है, ठीक है. सो यू लुक एट अ फ्लावर विद अ कंपैशन, नॉट विद एनी अदर काइंड ऑफ पैशन. सो पदमपणि, सो यू विल गेट टू नो दैट वंस यू रीड दीज ऑल स्टफ इन पेंटिंग. तो फ्यूचर बुद्धा कॉन्सेप्ट ऑलरेडी आई टोल्ड यू. यू कैन आस्क मी वन क्वेश्चन कि अगर जो क्यूरियोसिटी हो कि बुद्धा के पहले कौन था, प्रीवियस बुद्धा, व्हाट वाज हिज नेम? हिज नेम वाज दीपंकर. Then, so they say that Siddhartha Gautam was the Buddha of our age, and in that previous age, Dipankar was the another Buddha. और उसके बीच में Dipankar and Siddhartha Gautam के बीच में there were many Bodhisattvas. Then, once again, Siddhartha Gautam and the next Buddha who will be coming in this Kali Yuga, ठीक है, or that is Maitreya, there would be many Bodhisattvas. Then, चलो let's move on to the, so these are the some of the names of the Bodhisattva. वैसे books में मिल जाएगा तुमको, but then I have also brought. तो मंजूश्री, समंत, भद्र, अवलोकितेश्वर, क्षितिगर्भ, मैत्रेय, आकाश गर्भ, सर्व, निर्वाण, विस्काम्भिन and वज्रपनी. And then Paramitas I'll tell you later on, उससे related एक question है, तो then we'll come to that. With the reference to the religious practices in India, Sthanakvasi sect belong to. Factual. Factual, very fact loaded, but then not a difficult question. Because once we start remembering the names of the important sects, so Buddhism, if I have to list. So in Buddhism, the sects, we general what we said, Sthavirvad and Mahasangika. And in Sthavirvad, the branches are Theravada, Sravastivadin, Samitya, Swatantrika. Then in Mahasangika, Chaityakas, Sailas, then Lokuttarvad, then so Upar Sailas, Uparikas. So these are the names. 10 to 12 names you need to remember. And apart from these branches, we also say Hinayan Mahayana Buddhism, so as we also say that Vajrayana Buddhism, and there is a Japanese version Zen Buddhism. So these are 10 to 15 branches. घुमा फिरा के उसी से कोई क्वेश्चन आना होगा. Similarly, in Jainism, when we talk about the subsect or sects of the Jainism, the general sect of the Jainism is in first Jain Council in 299 BC, led to the division of the Jainism into 2 branches, Svetambar and Digambar. But आगे आने वाले time पे there were further divisions in the Svetambar and Digambar. So the sects of the Jainism are Murti Pujak, Bispanthi, Mool Panthi, Ter Panthi, Tota Panthi, Gumand Panthi. All of them are Panthi. Only one Sthanakvasi. Then, so if you just memorize these, so you can easily do that. So I have brought. So these are the subsects of the Jainism. ये दिगंबर में है, बिस्पंथ, तेर पंथ, गुमान पंथ. Then easy भी है, सब में पंथ लिखा हुआ है, तो you can find it. Then तोता पंथ. Then comes Svetambar के subsect, मूर्ति पूजक, स्थानकवासी and तेरापंथी. Then so these are the subsects of the Jainism. So this is what we call strategic information. देखो strategic information हमेशा से आपको याद होना चाहिए और you must be well versed with it. Then only you can do analysis also and then elimination also, if at all there is any scope of it. Now this is something where I just need to tell you one practice to do. Then, so consider the following statements. अब यहाँ पे समझना. So the very first statement which is written, deification of the Buddha, trading the path of the Bodhisattva, image worship and rituals. Then, which of the following are Mahayana Buddhism? Then, so Mahayana emerged from which Buddhism? Mahasangika. ठीक है, and where it emerged? Last class धरनी कोटा पे मैंने discussion किया था, I think. Then, so it emerged in Amravati and Nagarjunakonda, and then the places like Dharani Kota, Dhanyakatak, then in Andhra Pradesh. So now understand this very first word, deification of the Buddha. When this question came in 2019, I remember that someone came that exam देने के बाद, और one student that he said to me कि सर एक बहुत गंदा question पूछा था. तो I asked him कि गंदा मतलब क्या? तो सर they asked ना defecation of Buddha. मैंने बोला ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है कि they will ask defecation of Buddha. So the way pronunciation was there, he was saying defecation, and that's what he read. But then it is not deification, it is deification. Then, and what is it? So in this situation, my take to you, suggestion to you, please read Hindi version. Many a times Hindi version is a savior. Then if you read Hindi version, all the confusion, obviously we are not the native speakers of the English language. हर vocab हमें नहीं पता है, ठीक है? So when you read the Hindi version, maybe you get idea that what they are asking. Or what was the Hindi of it? Devatva Ropan. Then Devatva Ropan. What is it? Devatva matlab devata bana dena. Ropan is what? That you impose somebody as a devata. Then, so now you get the idea, and wo jo ganda thought chal raha tha, wo ganda remove ho jayega. Then, so look at it. Then moreover, we mentioned Hinian and Mahayana ke beech mein kuch difference samjho. So Hinian and Mahayana, that Hinian developed from the 11 branches of Sthavirvad and Mahayana from the Mahasangika. So Hinian never did the idol worship. Okay? Mahayana idol worship. Then, so idol worship, moreover, why you do the idol worship? Because you make a human being devata. Then, so what is this? It is the Mahayana who has made the Buddha as a devata. Then, so deification of the Buddha. Then trading the path of the Bodhisattva. What is the path of Bodhisattva? Compassion. So Mahayana emphasizes on the path of the Bodhisattva because that concept is central to the Mahayana Buddhism. Image worship and ritual. That is idol worship and ritual. So all of them are correct. So then, एक difference अभी भी समझ लो, that in classes तो anyways we'll be doing, but then is apart from it. Other differences between the Mahayana and Hinian Buddhism, that what we said that Hinian is the orthodox sect of the Buddhism and Mahayana liberal sect. So Hinian, they followed exactly what was said by the Buddha, and Mahayana, they took liberal interpretations from the teachings of the Buddha. Then apart from it, Hinian, when it comes to, so they are not doing the idol worship because they are following Buddha, what Buddha has said. Buddha said ki I am no God, don't worship me like a God. Then, so they are not worshipping him, they are just considering him as a teacher. But Mahayana Buddhism says that at no point of time, if a God comes to earth, he will ever tell you that he is a God. Then, so it is us who need to understand that a God was there and then we need to worship. So they started worshipping. Then they also bring this concept of Bodhisattva, which we have discussed, but in Hinian Buddhism, there is no concept of Bodhisattva. Then as far as the language part is concerned, so Hinian people only used that they were sticking more to the common language of the people, that is Pali and Prakrit. But Mahayana also started using Sanskrit language. Then, so, and idol worship already we have mentioned. Then, so this is what is all about that, this 2019 question of the Buddhism. Then, once again, with reference to the religious history of India, consider the following statements. Sthavirvadins belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Is it correct or wrong? It is? इतना पढ़ा रहा हूँ कल से तुम लोग को याद ही नहीं हो रहा है. The difficulty is this. Chalo, I'll do one exercise and just be with me. Fine? Now, so Second Buddhist Council. Second, just 1 minute. Buddhist Council. Then two branches, Sthavirvad and Mahasangika. महासंघिका, ठीक है. 11 branches, 7 branches. Then B I have written. Then I'll change the color. Leading to development of हीनियान बुद्धिज्म. एंड इसमें लिखो लीडिंग टू डेवलपमेंट ऑफ महायान बुद्धिज्म. Then so leading to development of Hinian Buddhism and leading to development of Mahayan Buddhism. ठीक है. एंड इस 11 ब्रांचेस में समित्या, स्वतंत्रिका, ठीक है, श्रवस्तिवाद, दे आर द पार्ट ऑफ इट. थेरवाद आर द पार्ट ऑफ इट. इसमें क्या आएगा? लोकोत्तरवाद, साइलाज, ऊपर साइलाज, चैत्यकास. देन सो we'll do that exercise in the classes, but here I cannot write everything. Okay? So when you remember this classification, that how the things have happened, you will not be on mistake part. Then, so these 11 branches are combinedly in the post-Maurya age are called as Hinian, and iske ye 7 branches are combinedly called as the Mahayan in post-Maurya period. And what is post-Maurya period? 185 BC onwards till 400 AD is the post-Maurya age. ठीक है. आफ्टर द डेथ, द डिमाइस ऑफ द मौर्याज इज द पोस्ट मौर्या एज. गेटिंग इट? सो लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. डन, फाइन. अरे क्वेश्चन तो देखा ही नहीं अभी. सो पढ़ो, क्वेश्चन पढ़ो. विथ रेफरेंस टू द रिलीजियस हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. नंबर 1, स्थाविरवादीन्स बिलोंग टू महायान बुद्धिज्म. नाउ यू टेल आंसर. They are from the Hinian. Okay? Then Lokottarvadin sect was an offshoot of Mahasangika sect of Buddhism. Correct? Is it correct? So I will add it in this part. Lokottarvad would be over here, Mahasangika. तभी से बोल रहा हूँ ना. What are the 7 branches? Lokottarvad, Sailas, Chaityakas, Uparikas. ठीक है? So these are the part of the Mahasangika. So they are the part of the Mahasangika. ठीक है? Then the deification of Buddha by Mahasangika fostered the development of Mahayan Buddhism. Now you see 2019 question, deification of the Buddha, and 2020 deification of the Buddha. This is what I am trying to tell you from the last year कि questions में repetition होता है options का. You have to be very careful. Then careful क्या? ये UPSC तुम्हें scope दे रहा है that some of one, at least one difficult question you can solve in this way if you have well observed the last year. कितने क्वेश्चंस आते हैं? 4 से 5 क्वेश्चन आते हैं इसके एंशिएंट मेडिवल के, एंड देन 6 क्वेश्चन to 7 क्वेश्चंस आर फ्रॉम द आर्ट एंड कल्चर. सो यू जस्ट नीड टू 11 क्वेश्चन. और 11 क्वेश्चंस में कितने ऑप्शंस होंगे? 4. तो 44 थिंग्स यू नीड टू एनालाइज इन दिस ईयर, and that's how you get benefit in 1 or 2 question next year. So you must do this exercise. So deification of Buddha is repeated, and who did the deification of the Buddha? Mahasanghikas, then, which led to the development of the Mahayan Buddhism. So first and second and third is the correct option, and 1 as you already know. Then let's come to, with the reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following prayers. And Parivrajak, Shramana and Upasaka. Tell Parivrajak. You know na? Parivrajak. We have read classes. See how we do, or basically how you study Buddhism. Okay? That Buddha left his home at the age of 29. He became a Parivrajak. Right? So terminologies जो आते हैं, तो that's what we do in the classes, that these terminologies are included. Parivrajak is homeless wanderer. Then, तो is it there? Wanderer? राइट ऑप्शन. होमलेस वांडरर, घर छोड़ के वांडरर बन गए. ठीक है? सो दैट इज परिव्रजक. श्रमणा, सो वी टीच अ लॉट, वी डिस्कस अ लॉट अबाउट द श्रमणा ट्रेडिशन इन द क्लासेस. Shramana tradition is believed to be the one which has given rise to the Buddhism and Jainism, and so as the Ajivika. It was a religious reform movement which got initiated in the 6th century BC, and moreover, the people who were the advocates of the Shramana tradition, they were talking about that end of the discriminatory practices of the or rituals of the Vedic period, like dominance of the priestly class, then that deteriorating position of the women and the backwards, then emergence of the Varn system, caste system, and indiscriminate animal sacrifice which was happening at that point of time. So they were against it. Then, so Sramanas were the reformers of the society. What is given over here? Priest with a high status. Are they priests? They were against the priestly class actually. So they are not priests with a high status. Upasaka. So Upasaka are the lay follower. Lay follower का मतलब ये होता है कि there are two type of the follower in the Buddhism. One is the monastic follower, one is the lay follower. So if I say that I am a Upasak of the Buddhism, what does it mean? That I will be leading my householder life, ठीक है? I'll be going in my professional life, but I am that follower of the Buddhism. But if I say I am the monastic follower of the Buddhism, so I am not a Upasak. Okay? Then I would be Bhadant. Then I will not be Upasak. And what is Bhadant? The Buddhist monk. I would have to live in the Buddhist monastery. I would not be leading this life. Okay? So what life? Householder life would not be the part of it. So there are two type of the followers in any religion. Monastic follower होते हैं और दूसरे normal followers. So normal followers are called as Upasak. Then Parivrajak you got to know, and then only the Shramana option which is there, which is not correct in this one.
A strong hold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Then, with reference to the cultural history of India, which one of the following is the correct description of the term Paramitas? Then, so Paramita is a word which is used in the Buddhism. Okay? I will give you equivalent word in Hinduism. So, have you heard about Ashtasiddhi? कुछ पता है? What is Ashtasiddhi? That 8 type of that attainments. Okay? That perfect attainments. Any god who has Ashtasiddhi? Lord Hanuman. Okay? But apart from it, who all are having the Ashtasiddhi? Goddess Durga. Okay? So the devatas of the Kali Yuga, okay, they have the Ashtasiddhi. In fact, Lord Ganesha also. So basically, an Ashtasiddhi can be attained by the human. It is said that human beings can also attain it, but then it takes a lot. So what is it? 8 perfections in the Hinduism. Okay? So when you get the Ashtasiddhi, you will always be there. You will trespass all the yuga. What is the yuga? Satyuga, Kali Yuga, Treta, Dwapar, every yuga. You will be there in the every yuga. Then similarly, in Buddhism, that perfect attainments are called as Paramita. So in Buddhism, you have to be very specific about कि whatever you study in your classes, you must have a good book and you must collect the terms associated with the Buddhism and the meaning of those terms of the Buddhism. Then, so Paramitas are the 10 perfections of the Buddhism, which is similar to the Ashtasiddhis of the Hinduism. Then, so is there any line in it? Okay? So perfection whose attainment lead to the Bodhisattva path. So these are the perfections. Then this is also a factual nature question, and in factual nature question only 2 things are there, that either you know it or you don't know it. Then with reference to the Indian history, consider the following text. Then so this is from the literature portion. But literature के कुछ और भी questions हैं which will be coming in the normal literature, but this is related to the particular that Buddhist and the Jain literature part. So Niti Prakarad, Prasishti Parvan, then and Avadhan Satak and Trishasti Lakshan Mahapuran. So which of the above are Jain text? Even if there is a combination which is given over here, and even if elimination can work over here, but then this was one of the most difficult question which was asked in the last 5 years. Then, so the two things that you can eliminate from it, if you have well studied, that is the Niti Prakaran and Avadhan Satak. Rest of the two generally you don't find except Upinder Singh, ठीक है, and also in the Wonder That Was India. इन दोनों किताबों को छोड़ के बाकी NCERTs में तो भूल जाओ, it is not given. तो अवदान शतक I can tell you, ठीक है. This is what, as far as मतलब my class will be concerned. So I would tell you that only thing that I have taught before this has come into exam was the Avadhan Satak, ठीक है, and Niti Prakaran. Then, so Avadhan Satak is what? That Avadanas are the rules in the Buddhism, okay? And these are the writings in the Buddhism. So there is a place that when I teach you Maurya, or basically that Ashoka. So Ashoka is believed to be the one king whose contribution to Buddhism was immense. Then, and it is said that because of his contribution, Buddhism survived in the modern times. So that is one inquiry. But what he did, so after he has accepted Buddhism, he decided that he will create large number of the stupas. And why he created large number of the stupa? Because it was written in the Avadana Sutras, Avadana Satakas, that if you create large number of the stupas, which are representatives of the life of the Buddha, and then if you create large numbers, so many people who will emulate the life of the Buddha, so that will give you benefit in the next birth. Then, so you will get a better birth next time. So these are the rules related to the Buddhism which are mentioned in the Avadana Satakas. Then, so this is the part that we discussed. Neti Prakaran, Neti is the rules. Then, so that is also basically that Neti is just like the Niti in Hinduism. Niti samajhte ho? So Niti matlab these are the moral rules or moral ethical rules. So Neti Prakaran is also associated with the Buddhism. Then, so if you know these two, it can only then it will help. So these two, kya pucha? Jain text. So Neti is not Jain, and then Avadhan Satak is not Jain. These are the Buddhist. So wherever 1 and 2 is there, you will have to remove. ठीक है? तो ये what all options? ठीक है? So answer is 2 and 4. So wherever 1 and what was that? 3 is there. तो ये remove हो गया. This is removed. This is removed. So then only you can solve it. But if you are just knowing only one, Avadhan Satak, तो उसके basis पे नहीं होगा. Because you need to know the Neti Prakaran also. So I would say कि ये 50-50 वाला type सा है. And it depends that with whom you have studied it or not. But then these two are altogether different. प्रशस्ति पर्वन ये एग्जाम में आने के बाद ही सबको पता चला, including me also, I would say. ठीक है? Then, though I have mentioned that what is there in the प्रशस्ति पर्वन, but then remembering it, I don't know that how you'll be remembering it. So प्रशस्ति पर्वन was the 12th century Sanskrit Mahakavya by Hemachandra and based on the Jainism. And then Mahapuran or Trishasti Lakshana. So it is Mahapuran in Jainism. It is composed by Acharya Jinasen in 9th century. Then एक और question है which was also very difficult. I think it was this question only. ठीक है? In 2022 itself, जिसका cut off इतना अच्छा गया था. So with the reference to the Indian history, consider the following pairs. Historical person and they are Jain or Buddhist. This is what they have given. And also the Hinduism they have given, Vaishnav. So Hinduism में Vaishnav and Saivite. So Arya Dev is written as a Jain scholar. तो anyone who has philosophy optional? किसी के पास नहीं है, ठीक है? So basically you have philosophy optional. I'll tell you that then. So philosophy optional में second paper is Indian philosophy. And in Indian philosophy, there you read Buddhism in a much bigger way. Then, so there you read about the different philosophies of the Buddhism and Jainism, not just the Saptabhyangi Nyaya, not just the that Chanikvad. Then these are the Syadavad. You read more philosophies than that. And one of the philosophy is Madhyamika and Vaibhasika. So basically, who was the founder of Madhyamika? Madhyamika founder was Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna was also one of the famous chemists of India that who knew the metallurgy, and he was a big Buddhist scholar. So Arya Dev was the disciple of the Nagarjuna. And he also contributed a lot towards the Vaibhasika philosophy. So when this question comes, so those who have completely studied philosophy optional, they only can answer the first one. that Buddhist scholar. He is not a Jain scholar, Buddhist scholar. Then Dignag, done. So Dignag, he is a Buddhist scholar, and Nath Muni is a Vaishnav scholar. Then difficult question if at all you know. So we'll tell you Nath Muni, and this is the year in which UPSC has asked pair wala question, जिसमें elimination हटा के how many pairs are correct, how many pairs are not correct. तो इसमें what they have asked, how many pairs are above correctly matched. So you just needed to identify. Dignag was also 6th century Buddhist monk. In fact, इसमें मैं तुमको एक help दे सकता हूँ, that what you can do, that there is a one section, ठीक है, in Upinder Singh also, ठीक है, and I have kept in my book also, whereby all the important Buddhist scholars and which direction of the world they have gone, where they have tried to popularize Buddhism, done, or what work exactly they have done. It is a list of the 9 to 10 people. Just go through it. It will give you a little bit of advantage in the exam. Then, so इस साल का भी question देखोगे तो then you will come to know. I'm coming to it. Nath Muni. So biggest temple of India is the Sri Ranganatha Swami of Srirangam. And then Nath tradition is associated with the Vishnudi, and then it all started with this Sri Ranganatha Swami temple. So Nath Muni was a Vaishnav scholar, meaning that Vishnu scholar related to that particular Sri Ranganatha Swami tradition. Then this is easy question, and ये question 10 साल के बाद repeat हुआ है, not in the same form but then in other form. So I have brought the previous question also, which जो 10 साल के पहले का है, but then first you look at this question. Souls are not only the property of the animal and plant life, but also of rocks, running water, and many other natural objects not looked on as living by other religious sect. The above statement reflects one of the core beliefs of which of the following religious sect of India: Buddhism, Jainism, Saivism, Vaishnavism. What is it? Jainism. Okay? You all know. So what is the concept? Jainism is the only religion which believes in the two types of the Atma, and what they call Jiva Atma and Ajiva Atma. So according to them, not only the living beings have the soul, but non-living beings also have soul. This water has a soul, this chair has a soul, river has a soul. Then, so they say that there is a movement, and in fact their theory is more of a scientific one, then, whereby if we in reality look into the constituents of the non-living things, so for example your light living hai, non-living hai, it is non-living, okay? But how come it is operating and non-operating? Because of the movement of the electrons. Then, so electricity, so movement is happening, even if it's seeming stable to you, but there is a movement in this water. This is non-living, then, but then there is a movement of H2O, two units of the hydrogen and 1 unit of the oxygen. So if it is moving, there is a movement which may not be visible to us, but there is a movement, and that movement is because of which soul? Ajivatma. So that's what they believe. Then easy question. इसके अलावा ये 2013 का question था. It's not the part of the last 10 year, but I have brought it. So just understand that 2013 में ये question था. Which of the following statement is are applicable to the Jain doctrine? The surest way of annihilating karma is to practice penance. What is their penance? Sanlekhana. So karma, and what is karma? Negative karma. Whenever in religion, Buddhism, Jainism and Hinduism, karma word का जब भी mention आता है, तो karma is a negative karma. Then it is not, karma is not positive कि मैंने positive karma किया है. Karma itself is in itself is complete, which means negative. So negative कर्म को खत्म करने के लिए what is जरूरी? पश्चाताप, penance. That is the core concept in the Jainism, and one of the पश्चाताप which is mentioned in the Jainism, sallekhana. What is sallekhana? Fast till death. तब तक फास्ट करो जब तक मर जाओ, नेक्स्ट बर्थ में वो खत्म हो चुका होगा. सो एवरी ऑब्जेक्ट, इवन द स्मॉलेस्ट पार्टिकल हैज अ सोल. दिस इज व्हाट वी सेड. देन व्हाट वाज देयर इन दिस ईयर क्वेश्चन वाज अर्लियर देयर. कर्मा इज द बेन ऑफ द सोल मस्ट बी एंडेड. बेन मतलब कि इट इज एसोसिएटेड, गुड गेट्स एसोसिएटेड विद द सोल. तो अगर जो इस जन्म में नहीं खत्म करोगे तो दैट कर्मा विल हैव इम्प्लीकेशन इन द नेक्स्ट बर्थ ऑल्सो. तो उसको खत्म होना ही चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट दे से. Then, with reference to the ancient India, Gautam Buddha was generally known by which of the following epithets? मतलब titles. So it is also not difficult question, easy I would say. So you need to know that what are the titles which were given to Mahavir. So Mahavir को बोलते थे नायपुत्र, Bhagwan, then Bhagant, then he was also called as Mahavir, then so Vardhaman, Mahavir, so Mahavir is also name attached to him. Then some people they also say has a Brahma, okay? Not Brahman, Brahma. Then so that is also a title which was given to him. And what about the Buddha? Buddha के तो बहुत title थे, ठीक है? तो one of the title is the Sakya Muni. Sakya Muni is why? Because his clan once was a Sakya clan. Then so he belonged to the Sakya clan. Then he is called as Tathagat. Tathagat, the meaning of the word Tathagat. Understand इसकी meaning. जो यहाँ पे मैंने नीचे है वो नहीं. What you need to understand. The meaning of the Tathagat. Thus he came. Thus he went. And thus he never went. Three things. Thus he came, thus he went, thus he never went. What does it mean? Buddha was born, he came. Okay? One fine day he died, but then he remained forever. With what? His legacy. Then his doctrines. And he never went. So that is what is the meaning of the word Tathagat. Then so his legacy is called as the Tathagat. Then, and this is what is the epithet which is given to him. So if you meanings भी याद मतलब करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, that these all words. Then तो ये इस ईयर का क्वेश्चन था, नायपुत्र, then Sakya Muni and Tathagat. With reference to the art and archaeological history of India, which one among the following was the made earliest? So लिखें इस पे, I'll do the exercise. अगर जो कल्चर पढ़ रहे हो तो then you will be able to do it. ठीक है? Just give me 1 minute. I'll do the exercise. So let's take this color. So Lingaraj Temple of Bhubaneswar, 11th century. ठीक है? Rocket elephant at Dholi, Mauryas, Ashoka period. So it must be in between 269 to 232. Then rocket monuments at Mahabalipuram, 603. Vara image at Udaygiri, 450. Then, तो which is earliest? Earliest ही पूछा है ना? Ashokas, Mauryas. Rocket elephant at Dholi. So this is the earliest. So अब इसमें see that class में भी आराम से easily मतलब class notes से भी अब obviously or not all of you have studied here. तो it will be a kind of not good on my part कि बोलूँगा कि क्लास से कर लो, क्लास से ही कर ले तो हो गया होता. It's not about the glorification, but then नहीं भी मेरे से क्लास पढ़ा है तो मेरे नोट्स भी देख लोगे तो हो जाएगा इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन. Easily it can be done. What I do कि आर्ट एंड कल्चर के पहले ही सेक्शन में when I start the course, so I create the classification. And that in modern what I do that I give you the chronology. Ancient and medieval I create the classification, all the periods. So उस period से ही ये solve हो जाता है. And in our architecture section when I am doing the classification, so then only we write about. So what I do ancient, medieval and modern. Ancient में that architecture of the Indus Valley, then Maurya, then comes the Maurya के बाद post Maurya, then Gupta, and then comes the South Indian architecture. So basically that Mahabalipuram, South Indian architecture. Timeline wise, last May. Then Lingaraj Temple at the Bhubaneswar. It is also coming after the Gupta period. Then basically, so in Gupta period, when I talk about the Nagar temple style that developed during the Gupta, but the sub-styles of the Nagar developed between 700 to 1100 के बीच में. Then, तो even if अगर तुमको precisely नहीं पता है कि Lingaraj Temple at the Bhubaneswar is in 11th century, 700 to 1100 you can write and you can get the answer. Then, तो I would never say या कोई भी ऐसा नहीं बोलेगा कि it was the not the easiest question. It was the easiest question. This much timeline must be there with you. Not the exact, but then हिंदी में जो बोलते हैं ना, कल मैंने word use किया था, मोटा मोटे तौर पर. Then, so there's the timeline and then there is a hell lot of material that you can study about it. Then, done. What is are common to the two historical places known as Ajanta and Mahabalipuram? Then, where is Mahabalipuram? Tamil Nadu. What is the other name of Mahabalipuram? Mamalapuram. Then, so Mamalapuram or Mahabalipuram, it is closer to which city? Chennai. Okay? Not far from Chennai, 60 से 70 किलोमीटर के आसपास है. So, what is the speciality of Mahabalipuram? Rath. What is the name of the Rath? Pandava Rath. Then, so what are the specific names? Dharmaraj Rath, Arjun Rath, Bhim Rath, Nakul Sahdev Rath, and Draupadi Rath. Then, so Mahabalipuram is associated with Buddhism or Hinduism? Hinduism. Then, now what is Ajanta? 29 caves. What are these? Completely associated with Buddhism. 29 caves are there, in which 25 viharas. Viharas are the resting places for the monks, and 4 are chaityas. Chaityas are the Buddhist stupas would be there inside the structure, and they are worshipping the Buddhist stupas. Then, so it is completely Buddhist in nature, where Buddhist painting, Buddhist sculpture, Buddhist stupa is there. So both of them. So क्या पूछा है? Common क्या है? ठीक है? So first one, both were built in the same period. Ajanta was built from post-Maurya age, and it got completed by the Gupta age. So by 500. So 500 से 600 साल लगे थे अजंता को बनने में. It started in the post-Maurya age and continued till the Gupta period. And when is the Mahabalipuram created? It was created by this year mains question. What was it? That contribution of the Pallavas. Then Pallavas came to power in 600, and their rock cut architecture. What is their rock cut architecture? This year mains. And these rathas which we are discussing right now. So they were created around 610. So both are not from the same period. That is wrong. Then both belong to same religious denomination. Is it? Buddhism and Hinduism? No. Then both have rock cut monuments. Correct. So those rathas are also rock cut monuments, and Ajanta is also rock cut monument. So only 3 is correct in this one. It is also not a difficult, it's a easy question, not a moderate, I would say. Then आगे चलो. With reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following. So हम architecture के section से अभी question discussion कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? So with reference to cultural history of India, consider the following statements. White marble was used in the making of Buland Darwaza and Khanka at Fatehpur Sikri. So इसको याद करने का एक ही तरीका है, ठीक है? I'll tell you. What is the तरीका? The only building which was created with the marble in Fatehpur Sikri was Salim Chisti's tomb. उसके अलावा किसी building में marble use नहीं हुआ है. All of them are in red sandstone. Then, so only building which was created in Fatehpur Sikri, and Fatehpur Sikri was created by Akbar. Then, and it was actually created in the name of the Salim Chisti, okay, who was the famous Sufi saint of that area. It is said that Akbar was not blessed with a son, so he seeked the blessing of Salim Chisti, and then after a son was born who was named Salim, and later on he became Jahangir. So Akbar, everything inside the premise of Fatehpur Sikri is red sandstone. सिर्फ एक ही building है जो अलग है, that is Salim Chisti's tomb, that is in the marble. That is, so one thing. Then moreover, एक और चीज बता रहा हूँ, इससे related, not related to this question, but one more part. Red Fort Agra was created by Akbar. Then, so Akbar has love towards the red sandstone, and it is Shah Jahan who has more love towards the white marble. So Red Fort Agra में everything is red color, red sandstone. There is only one white marble structure, and that is the Moti Masjid, which was created by Shah Jahan. Then, so that is also, so exception in Red Fort Agra is white Moti Masjid created by Shah Jahan, and exception in Fatehpur Sikri is the Salim Chisti's tomb in marble. तो पहला incorrect. Red sandstone and marble was used in the making of Bada Imam Bada and Rumi Darwaza at Lucknow. Anybody from Lucknow in this class? Yeah, Lucknow gaye ho is part that you have been to. So it's a very popular destination in, matlab, if you are interested in history, if you ever go to Lucknow, you must visit Rumi Darwaza. It's a very unique structure, though that it is a kind of a arch, kind of a gateway, but very beautiful gateway and totally different from the Mughals. In fact, I'll tell you that when the rulers of the Lucknow, or they are called as the Avadh rulers, so when they started creating their buildings, beautiful buildings, so they stayed away from the Mughal element. They did not included any Mughal element. They tried to stay away because Mughal elements were very costly. ऐसा नहीं था कि उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता था. Mughal elements were very costly. Then white marble was costly. And that was the time that there was, people were reeling under pressure कि लोगों के पास employment नहीं था. So to give them employment, they decided to create big buildings, and cheaper, that easily available material will be used, so that big buildings are also created. People may get with the construction work some sort of payment, and then intelligently they have chosen the things so that they look beautiful also. So that's how they have used small bricks. Then they have not used marble, so they have used brick and lime. What is lime? Chuna. Okay, and with the usage of the small brick and chuna, they created actually beautiful structures. In fact, marble की बजाय shine देने के लिए they were collecting the pebbles from the side of the rivers and also from the ponds. जो shiny छोटे छोटे ये होते हैं, and that where they were inserted inside the buildings to give the sign, and they were polished. So they used cheaper material, मतलब cheaper in cost, but then a good material, and they stayed away from the marble. So that's how marble is not used in the Avadh or Lucknow architecture. Then, so that is the story you need to remember. Apart from it, if this type of the question comes, you will be able to do it if you remember the story. So दोनों इसमें से कोई भी none of it is correct because marble was not used. Then this is from the Vijayanagar temple style. Building Kalyan Mandap was a notable feature in the temple construction in the kingdom of. So Kalyan Mandap, now understand, in South India, on one hand, Nagar style of temple was developing. In South India, from the advent of the Pallava 600 AD onwards, Dravid style of temple developed, then with the efforts of the Pallava. But this Dravid style of temple, it reached to its climax stage under the Cholas, which was the main question this year. Then, so Chola temples were basically Dravid temple. After that, what has happened? Some sub-styles of the Dravid has developed. One of the famous sub-style is the Vijayanagar, and another is the Nayak temple. Just give me 1 minute. So what was the speciality of the Vijayanagar temple? Grand big temples were created, big gateways were created, and then inside the premise of the temple, they created Kalyan Mandap. What is Kalyan in South India? Marriage. Then, and what was the purpose of this Kalyan Mandap? Marriage of the gods. ठीक है? It's not the normal public. जैसे हमारे यहाँ अपने यहाँ नॉर्थ में क्या होता है? That there are the dharmashalas in the temples where the marriages happen. But Kalyan Mandap is not a dharmashala. It is a mandap for the marriage of the gods. ठीक है? जो कि annual celebration है, not रोज का celebration. So this is unique part of the Vijayanagar temple. And another unique tradition with the related with the Vijayanagar was dibba. ठीक है? So what were the dibbas? Dibbas were rectangular upraised platform where the sacrificial rituals were performed. Then, so two things in Vijayanagar were unique. Mahanavami Dibba for the sacrificial ritual, and then Kalyan Mandap for the marriage performance of the gods. With the reference to the Chaunsat Yogini Temple situated near Morena, consider the following statements. This is from the current affairs. This question was asked from the current affairs, but then still I can tell you one way to eliminate some of the options. Then, so let's look at it. Just give me 1 minute. So understand. Now, with reference to Chaunsat Yogini, I am underlining the word Yogini. Is it male or female? Female. ठीक है. So, with reference to Chaunsat Yogini temple situated near Morena, Morena is in Madhya Pradesh, consider the following statements. It is a circular temple built during the reign of the Kachchap Ghat dynasty. Forget about it. It is the only circular temple in India. I am encircling only. ठीक है? You have to look out for the extreme words in the exam. Then, it is meant to promote Vaishnav cult. Vaishnav cult मतलब Lord Vishnu. ठीक है? So, it is not to promote Vaishnav cult. ठीक है? And then, it's Vaishnav cult. So, now understand. यहाँ पे what we have written Yogini, underline. It is female. And what is Vaishnav? Lord Vishnu. What is it? Male. Cut the option. ठीक है? मेल अपने आप कट हो गया. Then moreover, I would say to you that look out in your paper. Look out in your paper for words like this only. It's a very extreme word. It's a very extreme word, and extreme words are not the right options. ठीक है? So, for example, anybody from Bengal in this class? No idea. ठीक है? चलो, सर्कुलर टेम्पल कहीं देखा है इंडिया में? मतलब मोरेना नहीं देखा है, बट कहीं देखा है. आई हैव सीन अ लॉट. देन तो आई टेल यू That circular temple was a tradition in Madhya Pradesh, Bundelkhand area, and it was offshoot of the Khajuraho style. So there are three 64 योगिनी टेम्पल एक्चुअली. एक तो जबलपुर में है, एक खजुराहो में है, तीसरा मोरेना है. तो एक तो यहीं पे ये ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट हो जाता है. देन मोर ओवर इट इज़ अ 2021 क्वेश्चन. I'll show you one more thing later on, इसी क्वेश्चन से रिलेटेड. So now there is a division, there is an area in the West Bengal, Vardhaman. Vardhaman, have you heard? That was the birthplace of Rabindranath Tagore and these all people. Vardhaman mein there is a division Kalna. Kalna mein there is a Shiva temple, Lord Shiva temple, and it's Lord Shiva, but it's a circular temple that I have seen. Okay? Then in Rajasthan, I have been to one place where I have seen Thar desert ke paas mein there is a circular temple. The circular temple, okay, only word is very extreme. So wherever you find only word, just cut it. Okay? Just cut it. ये दोनों और उसके बाद then its design has given rise to popular belief that it was inspiration behind the India's parliament building. Then, so I'll just go with one exercise. I'll just tell you. Okay, just wait for a minute. So it is a 2021 question. Okay, and exam happened in October, but just wait. So understand that. The date is also written, as you can see, that this PPT which I created during the COVID period for the classes, date is 01/08/2020. लिखा है नीचे, and timing is also written. So obviously devices will not fool you. ठीक है, just 1 minute. Done. Then I'm opening it. So the answer you can always solve it. So these are the images which I created in. Obviously COVID start हो गया था, तो online everything was happening. So we had to take the help of these devices also. It is type of the Khajuraho style of the temple. Then just go with. This is the 64 Yogini Temple. This is in Khajuraho, Morena and Jabalpur. So why I wrote? ऐसा नहीं था कि मुझे भी देवी आ गई कि बताएं कि इसको लिख लो, ये एग्जाम में आने वाला है. पेपर में आया था तो मैंने लिख लिया, मैंने बना लिया. Then and in fact I saw one of the documentary Central Vista program जब चल रहा था गवर्नमेंट्स पार्लियामेंट, तो न्यूज़ में भी काफ़ी कवर हो रहा था. एंड इन न्यूज़ इट वाज कवर्ड इवन इन द मिनिस्ट्री साइट ऑफ द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हाउसिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट पे साफ साफ लिखा हुआ है कि इट इज़ डिजाइंड ऑफ द ओल्ड पार्लियामेंट वाज इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम द मोरेना टेम्पल. देन सो नाउ यहाँ मैंने लिखा है, चलो वो मान लो, ठीक है. देन rest of the images you see in the classes. This is another 64 Yogini from Jabalpur. दोनों different दिख रहा है, तो how come there would be only one temple? Getting it? अगर जो image भी याद है तो तुम उसको solve कर लोगे and then you can eliminate it. So we do from our end. This is what I try कि मतलब हम लोगों की जो classes होती हैं उससे कम 85% तो मिल जाता है class से. Rest of the 15% is obviously difficult, and if anybody is saying कि 100% इससे हो जाएगा, तो I think he himself is a fool and then he will be fooling you or she will be fooling you. Then, and you don't need to correct all the 100% in the prelims exam. You need to clear the exam with certain type of the mindset. So now these two are eliminated and the options after eliminating it, only 1 and 4 is remaining. ठीक है? So then elimination से ये हो सकता था, but you needed cool and calm, composed stature. Then, got it? अगर जो मैं नहीं भी दिखाऊं इमेज तो भी, तो लुक आउट. सो वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन एग्जाम टू लुक आउट फॉर द वर्ड ओनली और एनी एक्सट्रीम वर्ड. ठीक है? एक्सट्रीम वर्ड यू कैन एलिमिनेट. देन लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. तो विथ रेफरेंस टू एंशियंट इंडिया कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट. ये लास्ट ईयर का क्वेश्चन है. दिस इज ऑल्सो वी डिस्कस इन द क्लास. Let me tell you the stupa. Stupa is not totally Buddhist in origin. Stupa is a Sanskrit word which means heap of sand. Stupa tradition started from the Vedic period. Stupa is mentioned in the Rig Veda, Vrajaneya Samhita and many other Hindu Samhitas. And what was exactly stupa? So basically the rishis of the Vedic period, they used to meditate in the open for very long, heap of sand getting collected over their body, and after their meditation of 3 months, 2 months, then when they are sharing their knowledge with the people respect them and they also respect the stupa structure. When the death of these rishis are happening, so these rishis were cremated in the stupa formations. Then So Buddha also belonged to the same Hindu society. He also meditated, achieved nirvana, and then after, when he's moving out of the nirvana, so sorry, that when his death has happened, so his Sishya, they have created a bigger stupa on his body. So what is the very first one? The concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin. Wrong. It is Vedic in origin. Stupa was generally a repository of relics. You read in the stupa that stupa contains in the middle relics of the Buddha, meaning that body remains of the burnt remains of the Buddha. Then, so that is correct part. Stupa was a votive and commemorative structure in the Buddhist tradition. Votive matlab dedicated to. तो स्तूपा इज डेडिकेटेड टू बुद्धा एंड कॉमेमोरेटिव मतलब स्मारक, हिंदी में बोले तो स्मारक, तो इट इज अ स्मारक ऑफ द बुद्धा. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो अ नॉर्मल थिंग. ठीक है. सो बोथ ऑफ देयर मतलब दिस इज द करेक्ट सिचुएशन. तो एक्सेप्ट 1, 2 and 3 इजी वन. क्लास में भी जब जिस बैचेस में नहीं हुआ है, व्हेन यू आर रीडिंग तो यू विल बी रीडिंग अबाउट इट. देन लेट्स कम टू, सो आई विल कीप दिस एज अ music as a last question, and then rest of the things we'll do tomorrow. ठीक है, क्योंकि in one go it also becomes taxing for me. So tomorrow we will complete all the parts. So let's look at with the reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following statements. Tyagaraj, Shyama Sastri and Muthuswami Dikshitkar, they are considered as the three important trinity of the Carnatic music. Tyagaraj, his timeline was somewhere around 1600s, 50s, and then he wrote his songs in the praise of the Lord Ram, not Lord Krishna. ठीक है. Both are the form of the Lord Vishnu, but यहाँ पे Lord Vishnu तो लिखा नहीं है. तो Lord Vishnu लिखा होता form of Lord Vishnu, तो then it will be correct. But then since they have specifically mentioned the avatar, so you will have to go with the avatar. So he wrote in the Lord Ram's worship. Then Tyagaraj created several new ragas. So Carnatic ragas, when we talk about the Carnatic classical music, so we talk about them. And he is one of the important figures who was instrumental in creation of many of the Carnatic ragas. Then Annamacharya Kirtanas are devotional songs in the praise of Lord Venkateshwar. Who is Lord Venkateshwar? So Annamacharya, ठीक है, is that he is from the 15th century, and he is the one who wrote the songs which are now used in Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. ठीक है. Tirupati, who is the Lord Balaji, but Balaji is what is original name? Lord Venkateshwar. Then the mantra that we read in the Tirupati Balaji is Om Venkateshaya Namaha. Then so Namo Namo Venkateshaya. What is it? That this is all the writings of the Annamacharya. Then and though video मैंने 5 तारीख को रिलीज की है, but then in that we have mentioned about the Annamacharya also. So his devotional kritis are mainly used in the Tirupati temple that is dedicated to Lord Venkateshwar. But then you will be reading it in the classes. Then if you have not done in the classes, if you are referring to the books, so then already that there you can find it. Then so this is what is about. आज के लिए थोड़ा सा हो गया. Let me see what all question which I have kept for today is remaining. So painting का 4 है, and then dance form we'll do tomorrow. ठीक है. So remaining questions of the art and culture we'll be doing it tomorrow. Be there. I hope you'll get some sort of insight. Then तो and obviously classes तो करोगे तो फिर then there will be more help in this regard. ठीक है. And one question that he asked last day, उसको अभी discussion कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. तो your question I'm addressing, that he was asking about that what is the difference between moksha and nirvana. ठीक है. So moksha is a word which is popular in Hinduism, and nirvana we use in the Buddhism. ठीक है. And kaivalya we use in the Jainism. तो kaivalya is derived from the word keval gyan. Keval gyan का मतलब absolute knowledge. So all of them are enlightenment, but then in specific terms in Jainism it is absolute knowledge. Then nirvana is the extinction of flame of desire, as we discussed. कि कोई भी excessive craving, excessive desire will be ending. Only the needs will remain with you. Then so you become a spiritual self. And what is moksha? Moksha is also like this, that you become a spiritual body. But then the difference between the Kaivalya, Nirvana and moksha, that all of them, similarity, all of them, they lead to end of the rebirth. तीनों के attain करने से rebirth नहीं होगा. But कैवल्य एंड निर्वाण यू अटेन इन द लाइफ टाइम, ठीक है, मीनिंग अटेन करने के बाद यू रिमेन अलाइव, बट हिंदुइज्म बिलीव्स दैट मोक्ष कम्स विद अ डेथ, देन so it cannot come before. So that is what is the only difference between their concepts, that moksha comes with the death, and uske baad death hone ke baad then you will never be born. But in nirvana, you attain nirvana, you will live your life. Once you are dead, so then you will never be born. So all the other concepts are similar, and all the things, what is it? Aim of all the three, Kaivalya, Moksha, Nirvana, is the mukti. And mukti word hota use kis cheez ke liye hota hai? Mukti is used for mukti from the cycle of birth and death. Then so that is what is there. Got it? Fine. तो कल मिलते हैं, रिमेनिंग क्वेश्चन ऑफ द आर्ट एंड कल्चर विल डू इट, ठीक है. एंड कल्चर इज द मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट सेक्शन आई वुड से, क्योंकि एंशिएंट मिडिवल का दैट ऑब्वियसली नो दैट की वास्ट रिसोर्सेज आर देयर, एंड मोर ओवर यूपीएससी ऑल्सो हॉप्स ऑन फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस. तो अगर जो मैं कंपेयर करूँ दोनों ही को, मान लो एंशिएंट मिडिवल, आर्ट एंड कल्चर, किसको पढ़ने से ज़्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी आती है एग्जाम में करेक्ट आंसर करने की, तो दैट इज आर्ट एंड कल्चर. बट इन द एंशिएंट एंड मिडिवल पार्ट, इवन इफ यू रीड अ लॉट, समझ में नहीं आता है दैट कि कहाँ से यूपीएससी एग्जाम में क्वेश्चंस आ गए. तो बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट. टेक वन सोर्स, जस्ट वन सोर्स ऑफ द एंशिएंट मिडिवल. डोंट रेप्लिकेट, डोंट डू टू मेनी सोर्सेज, एंड गाइड बुक्स तो कतई मत पढ़ो. आई वुड नॉट रिकमेंड एनी गाइड बुक. ओरिजिनल बुक दैट आई सेड. So, and you can solve the previous year paper and go with the one original book, and usko jitni baar padhna hai pad lo, leave it, don't replicate it. In art and culture, you have more probability, you can give more time to art and culture. ठीक है? चलो, thank you. Yes? ये देखना है तुम्हें? अच्छा, you want to see it? चलो, good. तो if any such confusion is there, तो you can ask me. ठीक है? See, I would not say this thing, dear. See that I'm not a businessman person. And moreover, मैं बहुत simple सा बोलूँगा. एग्जाम में आएगा, relevant लगेगा, ठीक है. I don't promote it in the way the people do, ठीक है. That's all together. That's good for them, that everybody has the way. I did not wrote it for the purpose of selling it, कि बहुत बेच के बहुत अमीर हो जाऊँगा, उतने की ज़रूरत नहीं है मुझे. And then moreover, if it would have to be done, तो I would have written in 2013 itself, when the new syllabus was there and I was the creator of all the material. तो मैंने लिखा नहीं, because there is a personal reason. If you are asking, so I'll tell you. But the most popular book was closest friend of mine, and his book was written in my room. So I respected our friendship. I did not wrote the book. But in 2021, many tragedies happened with me, and then I needed some sort of time. And then many of my selected candidates, ranks also I have told you, rank 5, rank 7, rank 3, they all requested that if you are not writing, so you're doing injustice to the people, why you're caught in those things. So I started writing in September 2021, and it got completed. So I have written my experience in it. Maybe it will be helpful. If it does not comes helpful, तो मेरा कॉलर मत पकड़ना, ठीक है. तो so anything happens with anybody. There was a time when Lakshmikant was very helpful in exam. आजकल कुछ भी नहीं होता है लक्ष्मीकांत से. So if I have to say something, 14 क्वेश्चन थे इस ईयर पेपर 2 में. Mark my words, not even a single question is to be solved from the Lakshmikant in the mains paper, and people run after Lakshmikant. Then why you are running after Lakshmikant? Because at one point of time कुछ relevance था, उसी के basis पे आज तक चल रहा है. तो you are smart enough to evaluate the things. You are a UPSC aspirant. तुमको स्मार्ट होना पड़ेगा उसमें. यू आर एस यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट. इवेल्युएट द थिंग्स अकॉर्डिंग टू द टुडेज डिमांड एंड यूज इट इन योर फेवर. डोंट गो विद दैट भेड़ चाल कि पहले वो काम आया तो अब भी काम आएगा. हो सकता है आ जाए, बट लास्ट 5 ईयर से तो मैंने नहीं देखा है. 5 ईयर तो छोटा बोल दिया मैंने, ठीक है. इवन टिल माई लास्ट मेन्स एग्जामिनेशन आई हैवंट सीन, I was able to solve a single question from Lakshmikant in the mains examination. Prelims में, as far as prelims में it is there. So what is Lakshmikant? It's not polity, it is constitution. It is constitution, it is not polity. Then, and constitution is just one aspect of the polity. So you have to look out for the other resources in the other sections also. And in that subjects related to this also, you will have to find the relevance of the book in pre and both. एक स्टेज का एग्जाम क्लियर करने से नहीं होता है. वो थोड़ी देर की खुशी होगी घर परिवार में कि बेटा बेटी ने प्रीलिम्स क्लियर कर लिया है, ठीक है. व्हाट इफ the depression which comes after when you don't clear the mains. So prepare this exam to clear all the stages of exam, not just one stage. ठीक है? चलो, मैंने पानी नहीं पिया है, व्रत नहीं है मेरा. चलो, meet you tomorrow. Then